It's a goal! Can you believe it? It's extraordinary!
SANFL Grand Final day from the Adelaide Oval. What a huge day. It's been a fantastic season, and we've got the first and second teams from the ladder playing off here for the championship. And Port Adelaide, they went straight through after winning the second semi-final. Glenelg, well, they did it tough coming through the prelim, but they convincingly got over the Crows by 27 points last week. And this is what they're playing for. This is the cup, and on the right there, Glenelg champ Peter Carey, three-time premiership player, and Greg Anderson from Port Adelaide alongside him delivering the cup. Greg Anderson inducted into the South Australian Football Hall of Fame in the last week. Speaking about grand finals and premierships, this man next to me, Tim Geneva, at Port Adelaide, has won 7 of them. It's quite remarkable, I know, but not unusual if you've worn the black and white for players to have that many, Tim. Welcome along.
It was a terrific era, Soda. It's a great day, isn't it? It's the day you wake up and automatically your stomach gets butterflies. Yeah. So it's a big day for both clubs. Huge
buzz. Now, Aidan Johnson won't be in the Port Adelaide lineup. We know that he did get suspended for this hit on Chris Curran. He was really important. Aidan Johnson kicked 3 goals in that game, in that second semi, and he has the ability to turn the game on its head very quickly. So that's a big blow for Port.
He was also playing a defensive role on Curran as well, so a really hard player to match up. I don't think there's any one-for-one in that selection.
Yes. So Marty Frederick comes in for him, which is great news for Marty Frederick to get that chance. Jack Strange is out, and Matty Appleton, former North Adelaide and Woodville West Torrens player, he comes in late today, which is a great result for him.
Yeah, all players have to play their role, don't they? It's going to be an absolute cracker. Those 2 players, well done.
Well, to be head-to-head so far this year, they played twice in the minor round before that second semi-final. If you have a look at that, Glenelg got really good starts in both those minor round games, had big leads at three-quarter time. Port came home hard, but it was too late. And that second semi, well, Glenelg had the week off coming into that, and Port started really, really well. So it tells us the starts are huge, aren't they?
The starts are huge, and I think this particular second semi was really tough. As you can see, all the one-on-one clashes were terrific. I thought Mackenzie and Lena, we're seeing here, were outstanding on those really good forwards for the Bays. So they can't be allowed to get as many touches as they did in that game.
Well, they're both fantastic. I think they had 53 touches between them in that second semi-final. Last week, Glenelg stood up well. They've got their 3 talls, Luke Reynolds there, Liam McBean, and also Josh Scott. Now, they took 23 marks between them and contributed 12 goals. They are enormous, and Port Adelaide need to shut those guys down. And you have a look at those second semi-final stats. Contested footy, plus 17 for Port Adelaide, but for Glenelg, but Port Adelaide got them on the outside.
Yeah, they did. They controlled the ball on the outside, and their working close was good, the Bays, but they just couldn't get enough footy on the outside. Look, you saw Reynolds there. I thought he was outstanding in that second semi. It's just going to be a matter of whether they can get enough ball inside 50 against Port Adelaide's really strict defence.
Well, Timmy G, you know what the buzz is like in the rooms at this time, just before the game is about to start. Let's head down there now and catch up with a couple of the key players.
Thanks very much, Soda. And Chris, appreciate your time here. You've only lost 4 games out of 20 all year, but one of those was to Port 2 weeks ago. But you're entitled to be optimistic about today.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it was only by 4 points, and the last 2 times this year we have beaten them pretty well. So we think from last time we both offensively and defensively can do some things a bit better and hopefully get the win.
Not one of the players here for Glenelg today was born the last time the Tigers were premiers. Is that premiership building pressure?
I guess it is, yeah, but we put that pressure on us from the start. We set out at the start of the year we didn't want to make a semi or a prelim. We wanted to make the granny and win it, so we put that on ourselves from the start.
It's going to be a great day. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
Well, firstly, Jack, congratulations on making the team of the year, and more importantly, this afternoon you've had the 2 weeks to prepare. Has there been a bit of match simulation, or has Matty freshened you up?
Yeah, we did. Last weekend we had a bit of a match simulation because I guess you can look at it in 2 ways. You think you have the week off, lose a bit of momentum, or you have the week off, freshen up for today. And I was talking to a few boys then, and I personally feel as fresh as I have all year. So I'm really excited, and everyone's ready for the challenge.
Midfield battle was massive this afternoon. How offensive do you get in there?
Yeah, it is. So I think that's what's going to win or lose the game in the midfield. 2 very aggressive and I guess tough midfields going at it. So it's going to be probably a good spectacle to watch. But yeah, it's sort of finding that balance of attacking while at the same time being wary of their really good players.
All the best, mate. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
Well, there he is, Jack Trengove. He's right, Timmy. It is going to be a huge tussle. It's going to be tight and tough. Can I ask you, Port Adelaide, first, where do they have an edge in your mind?
Look, if they've got an edge, it needs to come from the midfield, because that'll get good supply into the forward line. They've got some guys who can do some damage up there, and Marshall and Frampton. So those guys really do need one-on-one entry.
What about for the base? Where's their real benefit there? Plus, it's probably those three big tools. Is it up forward?
It is. They're the most dangerous-looking players on the ground, aren't they? And I think if their midfield's allowed to get it inside, those three will do some damage.
Righto, Timmy. Well, let's hear from the coaches. Of course, is a huge. Yeah, we're going to hear from the coaches, Timmy, because we caught up with them during the week with our media launch.
Yeah, there's certainly a huge rivalry between Port and Glenelg.
Yeah, it stretches back a fair way.
It's been a long time since both sides have won a premiership, and
a rivalry it's really strong and it's really healthy.
Our players are really excited. Probably look over the whole park. We've got guys that can turn a game.
This time they get around him. Tobin Cox has kicked the goal.
Tobin Cox and Boyd Woodcock have been really exciting. I think Trent McKenzie was really strong for us across half-back in the last game.
Luke's had a terrific season. He deserves all the credit he gets. Brad's a bit of a beast of a player. He's a real contested, repeat effort. He brings that dynamic to the midfield, and he's such an important contributor for us. Marlon Motlop, his polished ball use, he can cut teams up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Marlon show his stuff on the big stage.
Some sort of trick from Billy Frampton, and Marshall puts the icing on the cake.
Billy was obviously running towards the boundary line. Billy's thrown it on the boot. It sort of hit Todd on the chest, and we kicked the goal. And yeah, look, it was a pretty tense part of the game. Yeah, pretty special moment for us.
I thought we were a bit below our best, and we gave it everything we had. The learnings really are we've got to be a little bit better inside 50, and we've got to contain their ability to score.
Anyone playing in a grand final, it's a special occasion. They don't come around all that often.
That means an enormous amount to us as a football club to be able to write our own history.
It's exciting for our footy club, it's exciting for our players, and we can't wait to get into it.
Let's take a look at the SANFL Grand Final. Only played just over a month ago. Port Adelaide by 4 points. Glenelg won the one earlier on in the year, but Port Adelaide have all the momentum. We're taking more money on Port Adelaide, having won 6 in a row coming into this one as we head to next Saturday, and what a big game this is going to be. Tigers are short. Now, GWS have been $3 or more in every final they've played so far, but they keep on surprising us. So GWS, for me, look enormous value. A bit short the Tigers and the Norm Smith medal. The top 4 in the market are all Richmond players. You throw Toby Green in there. Lockie Whitfield, not a bad bet at $14 as well. Good luck. Gamble responsibly.
Here's Partington. Lights it off the boot. Tigers are back in front. They get around him. Tobin Cox. Liam McBean's kicked the goal. Open goal. And put Port Adelaide back on top.
What a hanger round!
All right, here come the Bays. They are pumped up. It has been 33 years since they last won a flag, and what a season they have had. In fact, a season and a half, if you like, because they have only dropped 4 of their last 26 games. It is quite remarkable, their performance, and there's a couple of draws in there as well this year. The 4 games they have lost this year has been by a combined 25 points, so they have been in every game they've played for a season and a half. And Tim Genever's joining me. Tim, this is a team that is flying at the moment.
Look, it is. It's in really good form. It's got great belief systems. They know what they have to do in each third of the ground, and they've done it for a long, long time. So, look, they'll go into this game full of confidence, I would think, because they're 2 finals. I think they needed 2 finals games, and that really tough second semi set them up for the preliminary final win.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, no doubt about that, Timmy. And this man, Luke Partington, number 10, the McGarry medalist, he really opened things up in the second half of that second semi-final. We know he's an absolute star. He had a great game last week with his 28 possessions and 8 tackles, but he will have Cam Sutcliffe, you'd think, to watch him again today.
I'd be surprised if they don't go to him very early, because the start of the match is going to be absolutely vital, and I think getting to him is very important.
Well, certainly winning the ball in the midfield, number 6 there with the red hair, Matt Agnew. He is an absolute star, and what a game he had last week. 10 tackles, 8 clearances against the Crows. He was enormous.
Well, this season when I saw him go into the middle, I thought, well, what a great move, and he has absolutely ripped it apart in that centre square.
It's been a big 2 seasons for Mark Stone, the new coach at the Bays with Andrew Hayes.
Soda, thanks for your time, Stoney. Big day. First of all, let's talk about the change. Matt Ubergang comes in to bolster your defence. Take us through it.
Yeah, I just thought we needed the size to counter their tall forwards, and Matt's in our leadership group. He's big and strong, and really he was just a little bit sore last week, so we're glad to have him back.
Probably not the ideal preparation for Liam McBean. We didn't even see him yesterday at the grand final parade. How was the foot?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, he trained Friday. He just needed a light week. He had some bruising around the heel, so he's okay. He's ready to go.
Mate, it's a big preparation, big build-up. A lot of your players, it'd be the first time they've played in such a big game. How've they handled it?
They're reasonably relaxed. I suspect there's some nerves, which is human nature. I've got them too. But it's a really good opportunity for them to put all the hard work over the last 2 years into action today and come home with a flag. It's something they've really strived hard for a long time.
We really appreciate the time. Best of luck today.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, it's been a big year for Mark Stone and Port Adelaide. While they are on a great run as well, they won their last 6. They've won 11 of their last 12 games. Their third grand final in 6 years, Timmy G, and they've had a perfect build-up.
Yeah, a bit undersized with those two at the front there. Gee whiz. But look, they've had a great run. There's no doubt about that. These two are the best two teams in form, and we saw how good the second semi was. I expect another replica of that game here today.
Yeah, that second semi, Port came out hard. You're right, then Glenelg had the week off and they looked like they needed another game. It took them about half the game to get into it. And look, Port Adelaide were terrific. This man here, Trent McKenzie, the former son, he just controlled things as a quarterback in that second semi-final.
Had a lot of injuries last year. This year he's been pretty consistent. The body's feeling good, and his football is reflecting that. It was outstanding in the second semi. 12
rebound 50s was quite magnificent from him. And Pete Laddams, well, look, if he's not the most improved player in the SANFL over the past 12 months, I'm not quite sure who is, but his performance in that second semi was terrific. He's 7 clearances. He's actually like another big-bodied midfielder for them in there.
Look, is competing after the contest is amazing, and that's what's really lifted his game. His second and third efforts have been outstanding. His skill level for a big man is pretty impressive.
That'll be a huge clash when he takes on Jesse White head-to-head, Laddams v White, with some support from Sam Hayes. Let's head down now to Case and Biggles.
Thanks very much, sir. A great atmosphere down here. 15 degrees. The wind out of the northwest at 23 kilometres an hour, so it will be a factor as well. It'll be favouring the Riverbank stand-in, Biggles, and early goals are going to be crucial.
Certainly, if we cast our mind back to the second semi-final as well, it was very similar conditions. So Glenelg need to be less fumbly than what they were in that first term, that's for sure. Now let's have a look at the Port Adelaide lineup. Firstly, they have a couple of exclusions. More importantly, it's Aidan Johnson. He is a dead-set match winner, that 2-match suspension we spoke about. He was also suspended in the final game of the regular home and away season for engaging rough conduct with Central District captain Trent Goodrin. Tiger Jack Strange is also out of the lineup, so he was a very unlucky case.
Yeah, likewise, Josh Coss is the unlucky one for Glenelg, who make one change to the team that beat the Crows by 27 points last week. Matt Ubergang comes into the lineup, and he will play an important role as well. Who do you think might win, Biggles?
Well, 80% of the Tigers' score comes through the corridor. If they can get through there today, I think they'll get the chocolates.
Yeah, I think the Tigers as well. They kicked 12 of their 16 goals last week from marks inside 50, Soda. I think they'll kick a winning score today.
Yeah, good on you, Case. They've got 3 big guns up forward. Glenelg and no doubt Port Adelaide have got a terrific defence. Let's go right now to the break. Coming up, the opening bounce of the 2019 SANFL Grand Final.
I never knew anybody till I knew you.
Qualifying final between Port Adelaide and the Crows.
Boy, Woodcock, an absolute ripper.
30 metres out. This time they get around him. The Magpies marching on. They're through to the second semi-final here.
It's going to be a massive clash. It is the second semi-final, direct path to the grand final.
Open goal. Port Adelaide back on top. He gets the easy goal. Here's Partington. Lights it off the boot. Tigers are back in front. Some sort of trick from Billy Frampton. And Marshall puts the icing on the cake. Set to go in the prelim final. Spot in the grand final up for grabs here. Liam McBean's kicked a goal.
Glenelg Football Club heading off to try and win their first flag in 33 years. Well, it is a massive day. Have a look at this site, one of the great stadiums in Australian sport, the Adelaide Oval, and a good crowd in too, right across here with these two traditional rivals, Port Adelaide taking on Glenelg. And we had a bit of rain overnight, plenty of rain during the morning, but that is picture perfect now. And Tim Ginniver, you know about this buzz in this time before a game. You've played in plenty of grand finals, and it's just a wonderful moment in that build-up, isn't it?
Oh, it's outstanding. I love a bit of rain in the morning when you're coming out to a grand final. Just soften it up underneath, because I used to think a hard track, fast track, maybe not my skill set, so I used to like it a little bit soft underneath.
Well, Timmy, these two teams, well, they're the highest scoring teams in the competition, as you'd well expect, and when you look at contested ball, they are the best contested ball teams in the competition as well. And, well, it's probably just the difference is when you look across the board, the midfields are good. The forward line's just a little bit different in terms of Glenelg with those three tools.
Yeah, you're right. And, look, there's hardly anything in those numbers, is there? They're very, very close. Both have been in ripping form. Let's face that. So the second semi, I reckon, summed it up for me. There was 4 points between them. I'm expecting a similar result today, that there won't be a lot in it. And both teams will be looking for a good start, because that settles you down. But then she's a long way after that. And I would say if you didn't get a good start, and this is to either team, you just got to hold your nerve. And I used to always say to myself, first with your head, then with your heart. First with your head, then with your heart. You've got to keep thinking about what you've got to do and let the heart drive you. That's your fuel.
We talked about Mackenzie and Leonard for Port Adelaide and the strength that they've got from those guys with their run and their control from defence. But then when you look at the Glenelg lineup too, in terms of their defence, you've got Chris Curran, the #1 marker in the competition, and also Maxi Proud, who's had a great year. So they're balanced pretty evenly in that area too.
And Ubergang comes back in, so he really does give them those 3 tools that they need, and of course the runners on the outside. So look, they're in very good form. Every third of the ground, they've got good players and they've set up well, and their form and their winning form has showed that.
Timmy, when you're getting ready, do you think about it as a normal game, or do you think about it as a grand final?
No, it's a grand final, because when people say to you, oh, you've got nothing to lose because you're the underdog or whatever, you've got everything to lose. You've got a grand final to lose. And I'm telling you, the worst feeling in the world is losing it.
All right, let's head downstairs now for the national anthem for the 2019 SANFL Statewide Super League Grand Final.
Custodians of the Adelaide region, and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the Australian National Anthem, to be performed by Sheridan Bonney.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
Well, a great buzz and a great crowd so far. There is the Glenelg Football Club. They won flags in 85 and 86. For Port Adelaide, it was 98 and 99, the last taste of success for both these clubs. Let's head down now to Red Biglands with Matty Locken.
Well, Matty, thanks so much for your time. You played in some big games, including an AFL Grand Final, but how are the nerves as a coach?
Look, we're ready to go. It's been a big build-up back half of the week, and certainly a few nerves today, but hopefully it's a good contest.
What's been the theme for the last fortnight?
Oh, no, we've kept pretty relaxed. We're a pretty basic team. We just do the basics well, and the boys are pretty calm, and we've got to produce now.
You put a lot of emphasis on the start of the match. It was vital in the second semi.
Certainly. I think if you start well, it holds you in good stead, but we know that even if Glenelg do get a jump, we can come back. So we feel like we're in really good form, and we're ready to play.
With so many young players in the side, how did you get around to them just to calm their nerves?
Yeah, look, as I said, the boys do keep pretty relaxed themselves, so it's a pretty easy job for me as coach. We just sort of kept it as normal as we can. We have a laugh and a joke in the change rooms, and look, as I said, I feel like we're ready to play.
Thanks so much, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Matty Locken, of course, 2003 grand final, Collingwood v Brisbane. He did play for the Pies in his first year at AFL level. Chris Curran has won the toss for Glenelg up against their Cam Sutcliffe. So Glenelg heading to the right of screen now. RAA rookies, thank you so much to RAA for your wonderful support this year. This man, Will Gould, well, he's got a bit of man-child about him. He's from Lucindale, the same area as Darcy Fogarty. He's got the big, powerful thighs as well, Tim.
Oh, he's been outstanding all year too. For a young man, just so cool in the head. He just controls play, doesn't panic. He's not frightened. He's a very courageous player, and he's able to take it up to older players. So really got a big future in front of him.
In terms of responsibility, Mark Stone has an enormous amount of faith in this young man because he generally gives him the responsibility of kicking their ball out as well.
Yeah, and he's got no qualms about it. He's a guy that has obviously got a level head who can control himself and be able to do the right things at the right time.
Well, Timmy G, best path into a grand final, you've done it both ways before, prelim final or through the second semi. What do you prefer?
The perfect scenario, I believe, is qualifying second semi, miss prelim, go straight in. And that's just about as good as you can get. You play 3 finals and you're ready.
Well, Timmy, let's have a look head-to-head grand finals-wise. This is where they've gone in the past. 1934 was the last time they played at a grand final on this particular ground. All the other ones from 77 to 92 were at Football Park, and it was Glenelg that got up by 9 points. But for, well, the other games, of course, Port Adelaide have really had the wood over them for many, many years. And, Timmy, you're involved in some of those.
Yes, they were fantastic games as well. And don't worry, like I said earlier in this final series, this particular Glenelg outfit, that's not their record. Their record is what they've done this season, and it's been outstanding.
Yeah, Mark Stone's made that point throughout because we know that there is, I suppose, a lot of weight on Glenelg when you look at that finals history. But he said that's not our record. Our record is this year and what we've done in the past 2 years, really. And what they have done has been pretty impressive, as Port Adelaide have been as well. Here's John Casey to get things underway in our 2019 grand final.
Thanks, Soda. Umpire already talking to Cam Sutcliffe, who's trying to rough up the Magarey medalist Luke Partington in the middle of the ground. There's a little bit of push and shove. The umpire's already spoken to them. As we get set to go here, we're going to crown our 7th different premier in the last 10 years in the statewide Super SANFL. And what a contest this is between the 2 best teams, the 2 highest scoring teams. And both teams were in front in the last quarter when they played in the second semi 2 weeks ago. So we are set to go here on Channel 7. The 2019 SANFL Grand Final is underway. Jesse White hacks it out of the ruck, tried to run away with it, dragged down. This is Mays, lean it. At close quarters, Sutcliffe about to be shut down by Partington. Disrupted the hand pass. Cam Hewer with it now, and Sutcliffe and Partington wrestling on the ground. That continues. Marshall could have won a free kick, goes unwhistled. Here's the experienced Joseph. Just overran it. Woodcock with a piece of the action. Now tracking it back there as well is Matt Ubergang. He's got problems. Umpire hovering. Comes in and says, I'll have it.
Yeah, some early nerves there from both teams. A couple of little fumbles. It's going to be on. Don't worry about that. Very, very high pressure early.
Last week, of course, Glenelg kicked 4 goals in the opening 8 minutes of the game. We've talked about how important this start is as Agnew gives a little one out to Snook. He's been taken high, and Snook, his contested football work has been fantastic. He is ranked #1 in that stat in terms of averages for the whole competition, along with clearances as well. Virgin be pinching himself, Michael Virgin. He'd almost given up on a SANFL career after struggling to get a game with the Roosters, and now he finds himself here with the Glenelg Football Club on the big day in front of what you'd think would be around 40,000 people here at the Adelaide Oval. Kick in from Curran, open the door for Mays. Under pressure, Farrell taken down by Joseph. This is Max Proud, and the good stretch from McBean. He's had a moon boot on all this week. Cut off there by McKenzie. That is going to be a great matchup. McKenzie, McBean as Motlop takes it out. Let's head down now to Andrew Hayes.
Yeah, so and just on another matchup as well, Port Adelaide matching up against Josh Scott with Joel Garner. So Garner giving up about 10 centimetres and 5 kilos. So the Bays will be happy with that. That's certainly an avenue they'll try and explore.
A boundary throw in. It certainly looks as though it's going to breach 30,000. Here's Laddens in the ruck, took it out. Got Sutcliffe involved around the corner. He kicks, good depth with the kick as well. Well positioned there, but unable to complete the mark was Curran. Good pressure provided by Hayes. Free kick going the way of the Magpies here. Woodcock, we know he's an X-factor. 3 goals in last year's grand final for the Roosters.
Oh,
that's not his best effort.
On the back foot when he kicked that, John.
He was. Andrew Bradley takes the easy one. He's missed the target as well. Marty Frederick, candidate for goal of the year. He's tracked down. Good tackle. Just took too long. Well done, Gregson.
It's a grand final, and you want to get your first touch, but you want to get it quick, and you haven't got all day, and there's a good example of it.
Yeah, former Cat, Corey Gregson, 39 games at the top level with Geelong before he came back to the Bay, and that was a wonderful tackle. Gives it to his former skipper in Bradley, and he goes out close to the line to the current skipper in Chris Curran. A couple of big knocks in that second semi-final, courtesy of Johnson and also Frampton. Goes into Brad Close. Just rocketed into the chest, that one. Gave it away quickly. Here's the McGarry medalist. Little give over the top. Reynolds started the game beautifully last week. He goes low and hard. And he's kicked the goal. Glenelg have got the opener 3 minutes in.
When you're an RAA member, you can focus on what matters most. You see, our members are at the heart of everything we do. And everything we do is to keep our members moving.
Are we members, Mummy?
Of course. Because we're locals too, moving with you right here in South Australia. RAA.
Keep on moving on.
Let's take a look at that again on the National Pharmacy's optical replay. Luke Reynolds kicked the first goal last week against the Crows. He's got the first this week against the Magpies.
That's exactly what he would have wanted in his team. He did it last week. He got his confidence right up early.
Back to the middle. White against Laddams. Caught under the ball there. Umpire calls play on. White comes hard. Did that well. Mottle up in support. Handball over the top looking for Gregson. Did it well. Controlled it. Back to White with problems. Dragged off it. Agnew in strongly over the top there. Joe Atley. Again, they contest at centre half. Ball comes forward. Well done, Reynolds. Just knocked it down. This is Scott crushing in there.
Took his own man out.
And close on the receiving end.
He goes in hard, doesn't he? We know that he's a straight line player, Josh Scott. Might have just taken his own man out in the end. Oh, he did too.
Yeah, just Scott broke the arm in round 3, but he's back. He was terrific last week as Partington wrapped down and thrown around by Drew. And Willem Drew's going to get the free kick here. Had a great start to the season too, Willem Drew. We played the first 8 games at AFL level.
For Port Adelaide, Mackenzie has started on McBean, but he's allowing McBean to lead up, and actually Peter Adams is then playing a kick behind the players. So the strategy there for Port Adelaide is to try and get Mackenzie free where he intercept marks so well. Close.
Free kick again. He kicked 4 goals against Norwood earlier in the season. Had the long sleeves all year. Puts Glenelg back into attacking 50. Had a little too much on it. Mackenzie, this is what he did in the second semi-final. Just read the ball really well. Wasn't overly concerned about his man. He just backed his ability, and it came to the fore nicely.
Up the line he goes. Pays a target. Flying as well there was Tobin Cox. Gould stays down. Wanted to milk a free kick. The umpire wasn't buying it. Brandon says, get up.
Yeah, they'll have a few of those all day long here today. Head clash there, but good contest. Just got to keep your feet in grand finals early. You think you're being desperate by going to ground? Don't. Keep your feet.
18-year-old Gould, the youngest out there today. High ball. Curran can't complete the mark. Strong work from Ubergang as well. He's over the ball with Cox.
Yeah, young Tobin Cox flew in that last contest. He's got to stay down in that situation. Sam Hayes is 203 centimetres. Let him go.
He's got a 12-centimetre edge in height over his man Will Gould as well. So the tap, it favours Trengove. Kicks around the body. Frampton out strongly. Read it better than anyone and takes the mark. Need a kick from the paint of 50, and it's not beyond him.
Yeah, we'll just see what that breeze is doing at this end. We saw Luke Reynolds kick a goal, even though it went low. We know the breeze is okay at that southern end, but we'll just see Frampton in front. That's the main thing. Quick kick comes out like that. As a forward, you must be in front.
32 goals, 15 this season. Big Billy. Just outside the 50. Got a good piece of it, but it's way off target. Missing to the right-hand side. Sneaks through for a minor score. Port Adelaide opened their account, and it's taken 7 minutes.
I reckon if you had a camera behind him, you would have seen that his body went out that way towards that scoreboard, and that's where the ball ended up. Straight line.
Here's Gould with the kick out. Oh, fly. That's a lovely take there, just going back with the flight, Carl Nicholson. primary school teacher. Just drops it in short to Darcy Bailey. He's been an important player, goes at better than a goal a game. Bailey, terrific footy IQ. Divergent, looks back, then decides to drop it into Motlop, who's had a good final series so far. The smooth mover puts the ball up the centre half forward. Close and Frederick going at it. Partington held out by Hewitt. Handball comes out, little one over the top from Scharenberg. Ellsworthy, Lena, he's got it right at full back.
Not a lot to kick to at the moment for Lena. He's going out wide and he's going to the open spaces as well. He's trying to clear Sutcliffe. He's out there with Agnew, and he does that. Getting the run of the ball. Good tackle, Agnew. That's tremendous defensive pressure coming from Brad Agnew. Trying to win a free kick, and he has. It's holding the ball. That's sticking to your guns.
Sutcliffe had no choice then. I didn't like the kick because it was basically 1-on-1, but then two other Bay players were in the vicinity. I would have come the other side.
Agnew's kick. McBean couldn't get there, or mark it at least. Bailey around the corner won't have enough on that, and sliding back to take a relieving mark is Sam Mays in the back pocket, and he wants to go quickly. He's trying to invite Frampton into it, but just ahead of him, Trengove takes a good mark, not knowing what was coming at him.
Yeah, good courage there by Trengove, and Sam Mays has had a very good year for Port.
Yeah, he's terrific. 3 goals in the qualifying final, Sam Mays, against the Crows.
And this is Sam Hayes.
Sam Hayes, back from the knee Rico from Upper Ferntree Gully, 2-time All-Australian under-18 ruckman, as his kick goes up to Sutcliffe and Agnew, those two going at it. Sutcliffe 14 tackles in that second semi-final. He was absolutely terrific. Umpires for the grand final, Andrew Crosby having his 3rd grand final, Mitch Harris with his 2nd, and Tommy Bryce on debut. Let's hope we don't notice them too much. Normally the grand finals umpired beautifully at SANFL level here as the kick goes to Hayes. Just a little tap going through as Farrell. Marshall, we know he's clever. Just a little spin and turn. The kick, oh, to Sam Mays. Touched. Going through Sutcliffe, taken down the tackle by Jonty Scharenberg, and the umpire's going to ping him. It was a great tackle.
Yeah, the
by the All-Australian under-18 player.
Tackling's been on song for the Bays so far. They've been able to use the ball on the outside a bit more in this first quarter than what they did in the second semi.
Motlop in space. Shows them some tricks and now drives up toward McBean. Well positioned, flies one-handed, can't complete the mark. Comes it to ground. Well, he may have been taken high there as Joel Garner went through solidly. Umpire says free kick. See him trying to climb there, McBean, and there's Garner. And they've been a little guilty of it in defence in the finals, Port Adelaide, of attacking the player just a little too.
You've got to go hard and low, and that means getting your hands down there.
Conversely, down here at ground level, Glenelg's tackling, they are ferocious at making sure they execute their tackles cleanly. So very disciplined with not giving away free kicks early here, the Tigers.
So McBean coming off 4 goals last week, and 3 the week before against Port Adelaide. He's kicked 10 goals in his last 3 games against the Magpies. He's bringing that back, but just not enough. And missing to the near side, a minor score.
She was swinging though. That was like
looking good.
It was like a Pat Cummins outswing of that one.
Glenelg 1-1-7, leading Port Adelaide 1 behind. And well read there. The mark's been taken from the restart, Curran. And he's driving toward McBean once more. The big man creates a contest, trickles over the back. Ellsworthy to lean it, smothered, well done, Darcy Bailey. The 1%ers can have a big influence on the game. Nicholson weaves through traffic and kicks the goal. Great smother, even better finish. Tigers kick the first 2.
Party to the max at AFL Max. Check out our party packages, aflmax.com.au.
I was on the servo and I saw in the CCTV screen this balding bloke with the same jacket as me. But when I turned around, there was nobody there. And that was it.
Reached your turning point? The doctors at Ashley and Martin could help regrow your hair.
Watch this smother by Darcy Bailey, outstanding. Then had the presence of mind to pick it up, give it off. Nicholson wants to cut back through, and miracle goal.
Port Adelaide claiming a touch there. bit hard to tell from that angle. Looks as though it may have squirted beyond the arms there of Attlee.
I don't think there's any review on that.
Nicholson gets his first goal for the season, just his 10th game. He's had some injury concerns, and what a game to get it. Beautiful goal sense by Nicholson. White, just a handball over the top into the path of Gregson. It was cut off by Woodcock. This is Laddams. It's what he does really well. His second efforts after his ruck have been terrific this year. Sutcliffe, the skipper, goes in low. Appleton's coming to the side today. This is Sam Mayes, the inside out kick. Interrupted.
Terrible.
Nicholson, he's back into it. Joseph taken down, and the umpires let things go for a little while. Kick blazed out of there, and that was Sam Mayes. He's been busy early, Sammy Mayes.
Bays are definitely settled better, and I think that comes off the back when you've played a prelim. When you've played a prelim, you've got a bit of continuity about you, so Port Adelaide just have to hang in there at this stage.
Well, you're right, Timmy. That second semi-final, Port kicked a couple of goals in the first 4 minutes, and Glenelg took a while to really get settled. Today, completely different story.
Reynolds dragged down by Leonard, going nowhere. We'll have a ball up. Middle stages of this opening quarter.
You just can't allow that margin to be too big. Then
impressive start from Nicholson too, Timmy. He's been unbelievable down here trying to find the footy, but his work rate as well. He had that Achilles injury, which cost him a latter half of the year, but now up and moving.
Leonard on the outside of the right boot toward half forward. Curran greets it, but couldn't control the mark. Handball from Willem Drew. Sutcliffe dragged off it. Looked like incorrect disposal. Umpire didn't see it that way. And here's Michael Virgin. Trying to wrestle his way free from Appleton. Spoke to Michael Virgin pre-game. He was up and about. He said, I'll be a pest to everyone today. Don't worry about that. That's the way he plays. It was Sutcliffe. Interesting. Hand pass, creative. Frederick, Reynolds got hold of him. Loose ball. Hewitt over it. Gets Trengove involved. His high ball. And comes out Frampton. Couldn't complete it against Ubergang. And now Gould.
Needs to mark those.
It's a scurrying and quick kick away. But it's cut off here. Chance for Tommy Corcoran to hit a target, and he does now. And playing on, Jack Trengove looks into the pocket. Frampton, the man once more, has two to beat. Brings it to ground close to the boundary line, and in fact over now. We'll have a boundary throw in. 14.5 minutes played. It's Glenelg 2-1. Port Adelaide 2 behinds.
Yeah, Port Adelaide definitely finding it hard to settle down young Frederick. He's learnt what a grand final's about. His first 2 attempts at a possession have been run down and crunched, so they'll take some time, but they can't let that margin blow out.
Jesse White, he started well today. And he, like Laddams, plays as almost another midfielder. Josh Scott taken high. He'll get the free kick from Hewitt. And Josh Scott, that horrible broken arm. We remember in round 3, it was a game we televised. Had some issues with it, but he's back stronger than ever as Motlop goes forward. Well read by Reynolds, and he's got a couple camped over the top of him. We're going to see the ball halved here on the half-forward line for the Bays.
Great to see Sam Mayes cracking in. Of course, he had that concussion issue in the second semi, which he didn't take any further part in the game. The medical staff cleared him this week, and he is showing no ill effects.
Mayes with a clearing kick there, going back, and the whistle's gone. It's going to...
Port Adelaide have given away a few undisciplined free kicks. That is real sign of inexperience when that happens. Experienced players, they know how to get in and get their head in under to get early free kicks. Port Adelaide haven't been able to handle that just yet.
2-time best and fairest Bradley gives it to Snook. He had a good game last week too, Snook. His contested football was important. That one over the top. Hewitt did a good job then. Around the corner is Garner. And going hard at it. Bang! Laddams v. Maxi Proud. And Max Proud's going to love that. He's straight back onto it. The 2018 best and fairest from the Bay. Let's have a look at this. Whack!
Yeah, good contest. That's what you want. Proud had eyes for the footy only. Fantastic.
Hayes in the ruck against White. Ball comes to Agnew. His kick was dangerous across ground.
Should have marked.
Missed it completely there. Jack Ellsworthy opens the door for Nicholson. Under pressure, Trengove dragged off it. Coming through, Hewitt did well. Uses body. Coming out strongly, Laddams gets there before Curran. Overrunning the ball there was Brad McCarthy. Laddams dragged down by 2 tacklers. Umpire says, I'll have it. Took over 17 minutes played here, term number 1.
Talk about the intensity down here. That hit before from Max Proud was just absolutely, it just shook us. It was right in front of me and Big was we could hear it go crack. It's those moments as well that set up your grand final. So Bay supporters will be happy with that.
Agnew dragged down by Mays. Need to get rid of it. Umpire says I'll have it.
I'd get the runner straight out as I could to Billy Frampton and say, hey, just watch that ball all the way into your hands. Attack it with confidence.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. He's getting himself in the right position. Just not holding at the moment. Frederick getting involved again. Jack Trengove, high ball, touched. Close to the line. Snook back onto it. Nicholson, been prominent. Great start to the game by Nicholson. And Sam Hayes just reaches over and gives a little knock. And I think a free kick's going to go Port Adelaide's way. It is. It's going to Sammy Hayes.
Just said they blocked his run to the footy.
Big unit from the outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Long and hard with a flat kick. Frampton, there it is. Timmy G said, watch it into your hands. He has a couple of bites at it, and here he is with a chance to get Port's first 35 out directly in front.
Yeah, it wasn't a great kick. It wobbled everywhere, and even Billy took it in the 2 grabs, but at least he's got it now and an opportunity to get his confidence up.
Already kicked it behind Big Billy.
He's had a cider, hasn't he? So just make sure the body is running straight towards the goal, not out to the right.
Kicked 1-1 against the Bays in that second semi-final a couple of weeks ago. He needs this just to settle the nerves, and it's not a good one. Just plays away to the right, and you see that left hand is covered in blood at the moment, so you think he'll have to go off for the blood rule. The umpire will get him at some point. He's got him now.
Got him now. So get the boys on the boundary to check this out. Could be a webbing thing, which will be quickly fixed, but really needed to
didn't look confident, Tim.
Kick that goal, didn't he?
Just didn't look confident, and the longer this goes, we're 19 minutes played now and they haven't kicked a goal, well, the pressure just mounts. So Frampton onto the bench. Will Gould to restart here, the 18-year-old, a likely top 10 draft pick later in the year for the AFL.
Round 9, Port Adelaide goalless in the first quarter against the Bays, 3-2 to 1 behind.
Yeah, that is a nasty one with Billy Frampton. It's just the webbing just past his index finger, so you'd expect him probably to go down and get a couple of stitches on that.
Well, Snook got it from Reynolds. It took the mark very strongly. Goes out wide. Nicholson going backwards to go forwards. Gets Curran involved. His kick, again, kept running there, Luke Reynolds. Becoming a factor that they can't contain at the moment. Not a lot to kick to here, so he's going short over the top. Snook, the left footer, finds Close. Well, that's very well done. Now, McBean in the goal square, but they're telling Close to go back and take a shot here.
Yeah, and so he should. He's been fairly confident in these positions before, and Luke Reynolds is proving a bit of trouble. He's working up the ground. This is an area of his game that I said last week that he's really improved on, and he's had a couple of different sort of opponents so far.
12 goals, 8 this year. Brad Close, the 21-year-old. Difficult angle. Likes it off the boot, though, and why not? Because now Glenelg has kicked the first 3 goals of the game here. They lead by 16 points.
Now that is so you.
For one great price, the A180 or GLA 180. Which is yours? Mercedes-Benz Adelaide and Dunley. Perfection delivered.
Allington's, for the largest range of country clothing, workwear and western wear. In store and online. Visit allingtons.com.au. New season range now available.
Well, Snook delivers beautifully to Close. He just goes back, and he's kicked these before. He was so confident, and he's done it again. He's given the Bays a really perfect start in this 2019 statewide Super Grand Final.
13th goal for the season for Close. We're into time on now, and it's Glenelg by 16 points. That'll have to be recalled by umpire Harris.
Luke Reynolds' forward line movement is just sensational. He goes back and up at the footy, and what that does, it then creates space for the other likes of the forward line players to come through, and they capitalise on that, and it's a credit to his work rate.
McBean in the ruck. That was the hand of Billy Frampton we saw just moments ago, getting strapped up as well as Snook. Knocks it out to Bailey, taken down by Ellsworthy, just outside Glenelg's 50. What a terrific start for them. There he is. There's Billy Frampton just getting all that blood cleaned off. He'll be ready to hit the deck again soon.
Doesn't look good. It looks quite serious. McBean did well there. Partington, handball to no one in particular. Agnew was up for it, and so was Joe Atley, who's strong at it once more. McBean off the ground. Here's McKenzie taken front on.
by Snooker and Gregson. Umpire says, I'll have it. Took over 22 minutes played here in the opening quarter. The team that's led at quarter time, well, no one has been able to come from behind at quarter time in this final series and win. Hayes shovels it out the back. McKenzie hurriedly perceived pressure there, you could tell. Cox may have got into the back. And a chance now for Nicholson. Just beyond his range. He's got McBean in the goal square, one out calling for it. So they head that way now. Josh Scott lurking with intent at the back as well. 3 bites at it, claims the mark, and he can go back and shoot for the Tigers 4.
It's the perfect start for the Tigers. They're penetrating inside 50 for the 13th time, and bit of a juggler there. I know Mackenzie's saying I might have had a bit of hand on that, but it was dominated by Scott. Dead in front, he won't miss.
And Josh Scott, the best players last week with 3 goals. And from point-blank range, this to give the Tigers a 22-point lead into time on this opening term, and it's one-way traffic, and the Tigers are all over the Magpies.
When we clock on, it's there, ready to squeeze the sweat from our burnt brows. While we're trying to earn our bacon, it's trying to turn us into it. Oh, the times are changing. Soon the sun will be working for us, because in 2020, VB will be brewed with 100% solar. So next time the sun is making you hot, just remember that it'll also be making you a cold one.
Well, the kick came in long. There's a pack of players. This has to be punched, but it was just Josh Scott attacking it hard enough, and he just finishes off for the Bay's 4th goal. And what a lightning start it is for them in this GF.
We talked about the three-headed monster up forward for Glenelg, and it was 12 goals, 23 marks between McBean, Scott and Reynolds last week. Already 4 marks and 2 goals between them in this first term as Trengove against Snook. Extracts it out. Motlop close. Agnew, top of the square, and quick kick.
Fresh air.
That was Scott, couldn't get onto it. Just take it down as he went for the kick. There were bodies dropping there, and we're going to get the ball balled up, 20 out, or 15 out, in fact, from the Glenelg goal.
I think if you watch the replay, Soda, he sort of, his body momentum was backwards, and he sort of fell over. Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Hayes used the arm well just to palm it down. Snook pulled it out of the centre there, but umpire Crosby already involved. Get a ball thrown up, same spot. Late in this first term, great start by the base. Atley did well, and Trengove with a little chipper, and Drew. Yeah, he's going to get that. He's taking the mark.
Good mark by Drew, and it's a 25-metre penalty. Partington coming in late. That was a terrific mark by Will and Drew. I think Port Adelaide just haven't been clean. They're really nervous start. They've made a lot of mistakes by hand and foot, and the Bays have just started so much cleaner.
Trengove missed 5 games for the year with injury, but still a top 5 finish in the Magarey medal. Despite missing that many games, he still had more of the footy than anyone in the Port Adelaide SANFL team. Ubergang and Gould going at it, knocked out Joseph just in front of Woodcock.
I tell you, Port, if they could get a late goal, now they've missed a couple that perhaps they should have got, but just a late one just would settle them down a bit before they start the second term. They do need a settler, because I don't know if I've seen a more nervous start.
Boundary throw in, pitches in front of Hayes. Jesse White took it away. Disrupted handball though, went astray to Mays, who kicks around the body. Woodcock got a foot to it, and he's being dragged off it, and that's the last touch out of bounds. So we'll have a restart. In fact, no, the umpire's going to ask the umpire to come in and have a conversation. Let's go to Andrew Hayes.
Just saw Billy Frampton on sideline going through just a little bit of touch work to warm up that hand. Doesn't look like he got any stitches or anything. They just taped it up, but there was a lot of blood, and he looked a little bit distressed, but it's a grand final. He'll be back out there soon.
Low ball for Scott, who can't control it under pressure from Leonard, knocking it down out of bounds. We'll have a boundary thrown approaching the 27-minute mark of this opening term. Port Adelaide still looking for their first goal. That round 14 clash that Soda mentioned, when they kicked just 1 behind in the opening quarter, was their lowest scoring opening term of the year. And this was not on their agenda here to be goalless at quarter time, if that's the way that it ends. High ball, rolling more, and it looks like another stalemate.
In fact, Case, they were goalless to half-time in that match. They came home really well, though, Port Adelaide, in that game, where they were able to pour on 6-3 in the final term, but they were 42 points down at three-quarter time, so they'll need to get a hurry on.
Good pick up.
Garner did that really well. You heard from Tim Geneva, he's really clean below his knees. Mays has been busy so far again. He's had a pretty good final series, Sammy Mays. 8 possessions so far. Jack Trengove with 9. Leads all comers on the ground for Glenelg so far. Matty Snook has 7. And Jesse White with 6, along with Agnew. Nicholson also with 7. There it is. There is the siren for the first term. Port Adelaide just to 3 behinds. Glenelg have made a terrific start. 4-1-25. They lead by 22 points. Quarter time, and Glenelg has settled beautifully. They lead by 22 points. Matty Snook, contested ball king, and Carl Nicholson have both been absolutely terrific single goal kickers for the Bays. Let's head down to Andrew Hayes.
Thanks very much, Soda. Matty, it looked like a bit of a nervous start for your boys. How'd you see it?
Yeah, we just couldn't get our hands on the footy in the first 10 minutes. So I thought in the latter half of that quarter we started to get it back, but I think Glenelg were just a little bit cleaner when they did have it and probably used it a little bit better.
Billy Frampton came off. Looks like he split the webbing in his finger. I saw you had a bit of a chat with him before. How is he?
Yeah, I've actually thought Bill started really well. He got his hands on a couple of balls coming in there and had a shot on goal. So he'll be okay. It's just a bit of a split webbing, but he's fine.
Final message?
We've got to get back in the game now.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
Here he is, Matty Locken, of course, coached Glenelg a number of years ago. And this is the reserves grand final. Norwood able to get up by 19 points over Woodville West Torrens. The Eagles already won the under-18 grand final, but there was a great win there by the Redlegs. Cody Zust kicked 3, the former Panther, playing for the Redlegs. So they'll be pretty happy down on the parade tonight with their celebrations.
Cam Tahini is also going to go high up in the draft, kick 4 goals as well, Soda. Nor would the minor premiers prevail to claim the reserves premiership. Well, the minor premier in the league, Glenelg, claim the premiership. Well, no team has come from behind at quarter time and won a final this year in the SANFL. Billy Frampton back out there, Ubergang right with him, and here's Jesse White. A good battle at the moment. 5 hit-outs for him. Laddams has 5 hit-outs as well. They were just quicker to respond, Glenelg, in that first quarter and settle. They kicked the first 4 goals of the game. No team has come from this margin to win at any stage this year in the SANFL, being down 22 at quarter time. So we get set to go. Crowd pushing 30,000 plus. And the grey skies just out toward the east as well. If we get any rain, well, that's going to double the problems that Port Adelaide have got in terms of trying to chase down this lead.
All right, bit of optimism, thanks, John.
Quarter number 2 underway. Laddams just pushed White out of the way, but White found the ball in the deck. Oh, that's incorrect disposal. Umpire called play on. Not quite sure about that. Scott brought it to ground, close, quick hands. Reynolds about to be wrapped up, got problems. Strong tackle in over the back there came from Willem Drew.
You know things aren't going for you when that happens. Oh, please.
Rucks go at it once more. Gregson, workhorse on the bottom of the pack. Likewise, Sutcliffe, you can put him into that category as well.
A couple of spots of rain down here, Case, and I had a listen into the quarter-time huddle of Mark Stone, and he was certainly putting a lot of emphasis on his midfield group. We know he's a midfield maestro, loves the structure, and he was pumped with their work rate so far.
So that's outstanding by Gould. Not a good kick, but he was in front. And Port's forwards have to wake up if they're going to get those opportunities.
Virgin with the kick, bounces for Reynolds. Can he steady in time? He goes around his left foot. Reynolds has got 2.
Why go to extremes to save money? With a low variable home loan rate of 3.29% per annum and 3.34% per annum comparison rate, you could save thousands. Police Credit Union. Better rates, better service, better off.
Enter now to win this $1.6 million fully furnished Flores home. But hurry, entries close soon. When you enter, South Australians living with a neuromuscular condition win too. Don't miss out. Visit mydreamlottery.com.au.
Another quick inside 50 entry on the National Pharmacy's optical replay, and Lukey Reynolds started the game really well, just kept his balance and was able to snap that one.
Got a big cheer squad in tow today as well. Mr. Reynolds from Henley High. He kicked the first goal of the game. He's kicked the first goal of the second quarter as well. Laddams climbs high but couldn't come down with the ball. Now Sutcliffe gets involved as well as they wrap up. Jesse White largely ineffective in the middle so far. Port Adelaide, they need to stamp their authority on this and try and get some things back on their terms. Being too reactive. Here's Mays held up in the tackle by Close, and Snook umpire comes in again.
Bay's far too clean at the moment around stoppage.
Snook again. Bradley. Tim talked about their cleanliness around the stoppage. How good is that? Close just gives it to Partington on the outside. Goes long, looking for Motlop. Gets rid of his man, Scott. Garner. Scott keeps it in. Garner goes down 2-on-1. Gets some support there by Cochrane and also Lean it. Fires a handball back.
Under
Kick
pressure
from McKenzie, and Partington had the speed wobbles there. Just couldn't stay up. Mays knocks it forward for Drew and Bradley. This is a hot contest. Yep, by just letting things go at the moment, the ferocity that both teams are attacking is admirable, but it's just Glenelg that, as you heard from Tim, just been that little bit cleaner so far.
Well, that was a good example of it. Port, 2-3 opportunities, good pressure by the Bays to make sure they didn't get a clean possession away.
Not on Sutcliffe to create a kick out of there, but Curran was there to chop it off, and his kick playing in front. Scott takes the mark, and he can go back and attempt to kick Glenelg's sixth.
Not sure how many times I can...
They can't hear you, Tim.
Back it in. That, you know, it's so important for the Bays. You do want your forwards in front, and that's what he's done. That's clever. At the other end, it's not happening for Port. Their forwards are behind their opponents, and that's why that ball keeps coming back the way it does. Josh Scott already kicked one, and pretty dangerous from this distance.
3 goals, 1 last week. Goal kicker against Port Adelaide 2 weeks ago in the second semi as well. This was always going to be the problem for Port Adelaide. Well, he's got that high in the air and just shading toward the pocket. Not his best effort. Mark taken there by Jack Trengove, who can release some pressure. But they're under siege at the moment, the Magpies, and even Trengove's going to have trouble finding an option to restart and has to go for distance down the line. Frampton did well against Ubergang, and he's won a free kick as well. Ubergang coming into the team today at the expense of Josh Costa. Now he's having to play slow tempo as well and wants to come across the ground just to create something. Kick. Well, Corcoran got his hands full here. Needs it to sit. Wants to lean it. Everything they do is labour intensive at the moment, Port Adelaide, as they try and get out of the danger zone. Bring it up the field with marks being taken by Kane Farrell.
Yeah, it looks like almost players in their first game, doesn't it?
Sutcliffe flies high over the back of Aaron Joseph. Ball in dispute. Woodcock. Oh, handball.
Was it?
Was creative to Davidson. Frederick gets involved as well. One of the inclusions for Port Adelaide today. Umpire says, I'll have it. Let's get some break here for some more team forward footy trivia. On grand final day for Timmy G, who has won the most best and fairest awards for Port in its premiership seasons. Motley, Williams, Ebert and Hodges. How about those names? And how about that for courage, going back with a fly to the ball? Joel Garner, he is a ripper. His kick in the middle's dangerous though. Trengove has to work hard. Just batted the ball down. Mays involved as well. Geez, Glenelg got an appetite for it at the moment. Hewitt shrugs the tackle. The hand pass missed the target though. Frederick bustled off it. Close wins it back for Glenelg. The Tigers are rampant at the moment, and Port Adelaide with their hands full get Ellsworthy out wide. And the ball skids across and out of bounds. It was touched according to the boundary umpire. As we get back to the Morn team forward footy trivia. Now Tim, as the Port Adelaide 7-time premiership player, he's won the most best and fairest down at Alberton in its premiership season.
It's got to be out of one of the first 2. But because he won 9 flags, I'm going to have to go Jeff Motley, I reckon.
4 best and fairest, Timmy, in those 9 flags.
Not bad.
He was nervous.
Oh.
Get that wrong. Maybe the end of it.
McBean. Here's Scott. He's got Garner on his tail there. Garner did well there. Would have been some nervous moments for the Port Adelaide defender. McKenzie's got McBean to deal with as well. And We've got a stalemate, Timmy, just on that 4-2 to Motley, which is quite remarkable, isn't it? You're playing 9 flags, you win the best and fairest 4 times. Ebert a couple, and also Scotty Hodges with a couple. McBean tries to take it out of the ruck. Frederick cleverly. Gregson over the top, and Partington over the line.
This is smelling a bit like the game at Alberton that I saw, where Glenelg kept Port Adelaide scoreless in the first half, and goalless, I should say, and then they were able to come back, but it was too late. The margin was too big, and this is smelling a little bit like that. Port Adelaide are going to have to get some goals soon if they're a chance to be in it.
Yeah, it was a 42-point break that Glenelg joined at 3/4 time in that game, Timmy. They were 0-4 to half-time against 5-5.
And that's what this smells like, and you just can't take too long to settle in a grand final. You haven't got time.
That was a 100-year record with Port Adelaide goals at half-time at Alberton. And at the moment, they've got their hands full because Glenelg, well, they can sniff their first flag here. 33 years. Nice tackle there from Jack Ellsworthy. And at the moment, they are pinned in their defensive 50, Port Adelaide. Inside 50 count, Glenelg 20, Port Adelaide 13. So it's 6-zip here in this second quarter in terms of inside 50s. McKenzie bustled off the kick, did well to get it that far. Playing in front here and looking for a free kick, Sam Davidson deserves it. Coming up for his first disposal, Davidson as well, being quiet. Trengo, who's been busy, one of the best for Port Adelaide so far. He just drives for distance. He wants Woodcock to run onto it. No one's going to get there in time. Oh, Woodcock! Well, he was manhandled by Gould, who gave away a free kick for high contact.
That's unnecessary and sort of almost what Port Adelaide were doing in the first term. So just didn't have to do that and allow Port to get a possession that they wouldn't have had.
Woodcock, it's Port Adelaide inside 50 for the first time in this quarter. We played 8.5 minutes. They've got some defending to do. Gould tries to retrieve his earlier error. Going Port Adelaide, as Laddam's going the man there. They get back in numbers. McCarthy's first disposal of the game. Great tackle, Trengove. Upended his opponent. Woodcock backwards. Farrell forced to kick with a non-preferred right leg in the pocket. Unable to complete the mark. Marshall, who hasn't seen a lot of it either, with just a 1 kick to his name so far.
Port Adelaide haven't strung any possessions together. They haven't had 2 or 3 possessions that have actually gone to each other in a row, where the Bays have been very slick by hand at times, especially in that first term.
Jesse White up against Laddams. White with 5 clearances already. It's been terrific as Frampton. Cox close to the line, and he's taken out, the former Tiger. Didn't think we'd even see him again this year after he lacerated a kidney against West Adelaide. Spent 3 days in hospital, dropped 6 kilograms. Thought he was going to miss the season, got a second opinion, came back for the last game of the year, kicked 5 against Central, and saw him kick 2-5 in that qualifying final against the Crows, as well as a tackle from Drew on McCarthy.
I'd like to see Atlee and Drew get a bit more involved in this game. They're going to have to start to assist Trengove in that middle.
They're both important players, Drew and Atlee, as Drew does the shepherding for Mays to go in. Curran going through. He's got a couple to contend with. He's picked up a free kick for too high, the skipper.
Just gone in first for the football. A lot better than Port Adelaide at the moment.
Peter Adams has been screaming at his midfielders down here with those forward line stoppages, needing more energy from them. He just pointed directly at 2 of them, saying, "Get at my feet, boys." He's doing all he can. They're just not listening to him.
Ubagang's kick, bit of a wobbler, but it landed okay for Nicholson, and defensively from Leanett, able to knock that away from Scharenberg.
Claiming I marked it, sir.
Well, thought he had it, not quite. 22 points was the lead at quarter time. Glenelg's been able to stretch that out to 28. Just nearing 11 minutes gone, second term of this grand final. Slap forward for Farrell. Trengove, who's starting to rack up a lot of touches. Big contested pack going at it. Joseph, Ubergang, and the whistle's gone. Glenelg free kick. Going to go to the former Blue. 73 games for Carlton, Aaron Joseph.
About 5 Port Adelaide blokes went up for that. I don't know about you, but only one can mark it.
Joseph. Scott
like that.
Got rid of Garner, but that was a good stretch by Leonard. Garner kept Scott to just 1 goal in that second semi, and a fair bit of pressure on him again today. Just after that shoulder, Garner, it's already heavily strapped up, that right shoulder. Contest again, Sutcliffe and Gould. Frampton and Gould going at it. The umpire will have to give Frampton a free kick here.
Gould down on the play as well. Just counting his teeth at the moment, Will Gould. As you can see, there's White. Frampton went back for seconds as well. Reported the last time they played for efforts against 2 players. Frampton putting himself about, drive to the top of the square. Then coming out, Tobin Cox, the former Glenelg player, has taken the mark right in front.
He's good overhead, isn't he? And hasn't had a lot of it, or seen a lot of it so far, but this is his opportunity to get the settler for Port Adelaide. They just haven't done anything clean. They haven't been able to connect possessions together, and a free kick coming, and he put it in, and a good mark by Cox. But he's had the yips in these finals as far as kicking for goal goes.
He sure has. 28-17 on the season for Cox. Goal kicker against Glenelg was 1-2 that he kicked when they played in the second semi, and to say they need this would be the understatement of the SANFL season. And Tobin Cox, he'll be feeling nervous. You know, he's had the yips in front of goal, but that one looks steady, and finally the Magpie faithful have got something to cheer about. Their first goal arrives, 13 minutes played, term number 2.
The grand final is here.
I'll guess the number 1. No? Okay, I'll fix it.
A night of spectacle that has to be seen to be believed.
With grand final performances by Samantha Jade and Cousin Tino.
Your live vote decides the winner.
The winner of Australia's Got Talent is...
The Australia's Got Talent Grand Final, tonight at 7 on 7.
Well, the free kick has been given to Glenelg after that little dust-up that went on after the first goal for Port Adelaide by Tobin Cox. So into the centre of the ground, Jesse White will enable the clearance for the base. 127 games at AFL level for White. Goes up. Hayes knocks it forward. Woodcock almost had their head taken. Snook under pressure from Trengove. Little give us a good one from Mays. Leonard did really well. Good hands in close there. Willem Drew, and there's a chance coming at it. Reading it well was Max Proud. Ubergang. High kick was outmarked by Cox earlier, and Tommy Corcoran took some really good marks in that second semi-final, Tommy, and that's a good contested mark in defence.
Leonard playing the quarterback role off half-back, coming up for disposal number 11. Only Trengove with 13 has more in the game. That's it out wide for Mays. He looks up, the kick. He tried to isolate Willem Drew there, who rose high but couldn't complete the mark. Gould almost dragged off it, had enough time to get it to Snook, who comes out wide for McCarthy. Only his second disposal. Gets to Reynolds, who elevates and takes a nice grab. That's a lot to like about the way he plays, Luke Reynolds. He's had a taste of AFL being on the list at Carlton. Frederick wrestling with Close, and it's a good wrestle. Oh, well done, Marty Frederick. He can come up with some X-factor work, and he did just there. And a free kick now going Port Adelaide's way. Free kick count is 14-8 in favour of Glenelg. 15 minutes played in this second term. Port Adelaide to wing. Frampton Rowe, Trengove at the base of the pack. Sutcliffe, good body work there. Just muscled his opponent out of it, and now kicks for Woodcock, and he got him goal side. Chance for Woodcock to rush onto the end, and then well done, Aaron Joseph, forcing it through. What a defensive play from the Tigers.
That's experience, isn't it? You can't buy it. That would have been a very important goal for Port Adelaide. He put the ball out really well, and fantastic effort by Aaron Joseph to just get hands and tap that over the line.
Aaron Joseph isn't that quick either, and you do not want Boyd Woodcock getting goal side of you. The speed was on. It was just his determination that got him over the line. Aaron Joseph, sensational.
Leonard gets the handball. We know he can kick the ball long to the square, and Joseph again slaps it through. 30 years young, Aaron Joseph, and that little run with Woodcock before, 19 years of age. We know good Woodcock, geez, he had a great final series for the Roosters last year, but Joseph doing some terrific work there, 2 efforts in a row.
And it's the defence that helped Glenelg win the minor premiership. They restricted teams to just 66 points a game, the best in the competition. And Port Adelaide, the highest scoring team all year, are approaching half-time here with 1 goal. Appleton, hand pass was a good one in terms of dangerous. Wrestles away from one would-be tackler and then dragged down by a second. Needed to give the handball.
Yeah, it's selfish then. He should have given off.
Leonard crunches the pack, did well. He's starting to rise to the occasion, but his kick is going to be cut off here by Chris Curran.
Yep. Port Adelaide are having a moment. They're just having a little couple of minutes here that they've started to pepper inside 50, and they've got to try and convert, otherwise it'll be costly if they don't.
McCarthy coughs it up, and Farrell just sets it up. Top of the square again. Frampton and Ubergang. Frampton got his hands to it. Cox, Mays gives it to Attlee. Taken down the tackle by Nicholson. Mays around the corner. Taken through for a behind. Billy Frampton again had himself in a really good position. Just couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, you're right. They've got to be able to handle these moments a bit better. Port Adelaide, it looks like real rushed work that they're doing inside 50.
This wind is really swirly. I went out there in quarter time and stood in the centre of the ground. It felt like it was going to the old scoreboard end, but down in this pocket it gets sheltered going towards goal.
Free kick going to Port Adelaide. Magpies have had 7 scoring shots to 6 here, but still find themselves in arrears as Farrell sets it up for Frampton once more. Couldn't complete it. Sutcliffe dragged off it. Curran likewise. He's got problems. Dangerous times here for the Tigers. Agnew tries to bullock his way through. He's got Bradley involved, and now Gregson will use the outside of the right boot, but didn't get it as well as he wanted to out on the full.
Well, the first time in this grand final, Port Adelaide have actually swung momentum, and they're not doing it very tidily, let me tell you, but at least they are getting more of the football.
Congested forward line. Glenelg have got 16 players inside their defensive 50, but they can't stop Frampton from taking the mark.
Still wasn't clean, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt with the finger work at the moment. He needs to make sure he kicks better than he did in that first quarter.
As you mentioned, Tim, they've got all the momentum here, but they need to finish their work, and Frampton didn't look confident the last time. 2 behinds to his credit so far. 33 goals this season to be the Magpies' leading goal kicker. And you look to steady here. 2 games of the AFL Port Adelaide team. This to give Port Adelaide back-to-back goals. Well, he gave the goal umpire some work, but it's a full 6 points, and the Magpies are on the move.
When you're an RAA member, you can focus on what matters most. You see, our members are at the heart of everything we do. And everything we do is to keep our members moving.
Are we members, Mummy?
Of course. Because we're locals too, moving with you right here in South Australia. RAA.
Keep on moving on.
Well, Frampton in front this time, comes up, takes the mark, goes back. His kicking hasn't been terrific this game, but that one snuck in and he's very happy and just keeps Port Adelaide in the hunt.
Well, have a look at the inside 50 count. Just Port Adelaide have dominated that in recent times as Gregson goes forward into 54. Glenelg, and Motlop uses the body well. Strong hands, and here's a chance for a quick answer within a minute.
Yeah, that'll hurt really badly. It was a bad centre clearance for Port Adelaide. They didn't even get a hand near it, and this one here just got rid of him too easily for mine. Lacked the height on that one. Need to push back harder.
Marlon Motlop, best and fairest at North Adelaide, Swan Districts and Peel Thunder. Here he goes for the Bays. They just get that little steadier, and there's the quick answer.
The holiday blowout. I spent how much on what? Luckily, Society One has a great low-rate personal loan. Way better than the banks. In as little as 24 hours, they consolidated my debts into one easy-to-manage loan, saving me a lot of money. They rewarded me with my own personalised rate. thanks to my great credit. To get your rate, go to society1.com.au and see how much you could save.
Well, the easy centre clearance results in a one-on-one situation which involves Marlon Motlop, the super skilled player who finishes off for his team in a quick answer to Port Adelaide's goal.
Approaching the 22-minute mark of this second quarter, Laddams wins the tap over his head. Got it to Atley, now Willem Drew. Try and get the ball forward once more. Coming out Sutcliffe, protected the drop zone, waited for Mays to get involved. Laddams cruising past, Mays well tackled. McCarthy doing a great job, ball springs free. Hayes got it from Sutcliffe, high ball. Woodcock batted it down, lean it, wrapped up by multiple tacklers taking possession, and that's just been the work rate of the Tigers.
That's the thing, Port Adelaide have to hang in there because Glenelg are giving it everything, and they're giving it a lot, which expends a lot of energy. And if you're within range, you might be able to come back, but if you're 42 points, something like that down, you won't be able to make it.
Frederick, good depth with the kick, top of the square, bodies crash in. Frampton knocked down by a teammate, and he looks like he's hurt as well, and that's almost high. Free kick going the way of Glenelg, but behind play, two Port Adelaide players, one of them Frampton. Another are still down. Frampton back to his feet now, but that's not a good sign. As Glenelg look to clear the danger zone, and they're out here with Curran outside the half-back flank. Off and running was Todd Marshall, the other player who's back to his feet now as White looks inboard for Agnew. Takes the mark. They got Josh Scott looking dangerous in the forward pocket. Agnew just pitches a high ball, though, to the other side of the ground. Reynolds caught behind. That's better work there from McKenzie.
Outstanding. Look, Port Adelaide's incident down that forward pocket, that's because they've been doing that all day, where they got 5 and 6 going for a ball. Just one up, one down, the old story.
Frampton back on his feet, takes the mark. Down to Marshall, who's also back up, and turns his man inside out. Curran, but the boundary line just beats him to it. So both the big forwards back up and firing.
Well, for mine, you've got to get up quicker than that. I don't care how hurt you are, it's a grand final. Get back to your feet, don't allow that ball out of the forward 50.
Last possession out of bounds enables Glenelg to bring it back in. Bradley's got close here, broadcast side of the ground, and uses him. McBean, a long way from home, provided an option up the line. Close just waiting now. He'll go again. Good kick. Agnew through the hands. He's able to go, though. Got some assistance from McBean. Turns the kick. Was looking for Reynolds. Gives it to Laddams. Port Adelaide are out here. They've got a chance. Drew just held up. Gets things moving. Oh, he skied that to Bradley. That is a terrible kick.
Bradley plays on. Gregson gets involved across half-back. Oh, his kick knocked down by Sutcliffe. Fortuitously, it comes back for Nicholson. Curran joins in once more. Better disposal there. Now he's got Partington. Short kick. Snook about to be wrapped up. Dragged off it, holding the ball. Well done, Marty Frederick.
Terrific pace there. Probably think they made a mistake. Reynolds was loose on half-forward. Should have gone there.
Through sets of hands, it gets to Lena, who drives from the middle of the ground. Tobin Cox well positioned here, but it's too much on it. The breeze is favouring that end. And again, it's over the back in the last possession out of bounds, and Glenelg will restart dangerously somewhat. And Curran taken high by Marshall. And Curran was something of a punching bag in the second semi-final when they went after him on a couple of occasions. It's another for his corner here. He's a tough customer.
Umpire Harris was only 2 metres away, so he got a really good look at it. Didn't think there was anything in it.
The best and fairest last year, team of the year. Member as well. Garner just crashes the pack there. The ball trickles close to the boundary line. Laddams did that well. Sold some candy there to Bradley. Tied to the top of the square. Tobin Cox can't complete the mark. Max Proud with problems. Came to Sutcliffe. He jams it onto the boot. Just can't get the accuracy he was after. And through for a minor score.
Timmy, how comfortable did Pete Laddams look just selling some candy then for a big man?
He's done it a bit this year, hasn't he? And shows the confidence level he's got. But Port Adelaide, their inside 50s have been really ugly, haven't they? That's another example of it.
Josh Scott completely cleaned up Boyd Woodcock, who's come to the interchange bench. He copped a knee to the back of the head. He was certainly wobbly as he walked from the field, so they'll assess him down here now.
Scharenberg gives it to Snook. McBean just taps it in for Partington. Doesn't have anyone to deal with. Gets it again. Partington, no free kick. Looked like he pulled his man back. Gives a handball over the top to Reynolds. Goes for a little low one and just hit on the line by Garner. I'd like to have another look at that Partington work on the outer side. Glenelg.
Oh, look, I know he's popular with the umpires, but that's ridiculous. You can't do that. Fair dinkum.
No, you can't do that, Tim. You're right.
Oh, man.
Well, generally you're not allowed to do it.
Just got a hand on that in time. We're going to have a boundary throw in. Approaching the 27-minute mark of the second quarter. We played 27:55 in that first term. And Glenelg kicked 4-1 to 3 behinds. So another 4 goals in this quarter combined. So we suggest close to that number again in terms of the siren. Hewitt to Mays has been influential. He kicks to centre wing, cutting across. Good grab being taken by Luke Reynolds.
Late in the quarter, he does this for the Bays and does it well.
Let's get to Andrew Hayes.
Boyd Woodcock just getting assessed on the bench. He got cleaned up by Josh Scott. Might have been a little bit of retribution. And Josh Scott's got, of course, that heavily taped arm. They've been going after it, which you would expect.
No surprise in that. And the Glenelg are at the moment enjoying a 19-point lead here. They're led by 22 at quarter time. So despite the dominance they had in that second term, kicking with the breeze, Port Adelaide just didn't make enough of their opportunities, Tim Ginnivan.
Well, 2-7 says that. It was, like I said, everything inside 50 was ugly. There was too many players going up, and it made it very untidy.
Well, let's get down to Red Biglands.
Marlin started really well, but Port came back in that second term.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing. We need to keep the pressure on. We got off to a flying start. We knew they're a good side, so they were always going to come back, and it showed it then. So we just got to keep the pressure on and control the game a little bit more.
Mark's really put a lot of emphasis around stoppage. You were clean in there, and then Port raised the stakes.
Yeah, that's right. They're a great stoppage team as well. So we knew that they were going to come back at some stage, and it happened. So it evened the game out a little bit. We just got to try and gain ascendancy back in there again.
Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Marlon Motlop there, 2 goals apiece in that second term. It was a 22-point break at quarter time for the Bays, 19. Well, the Bays got off to a flyer, kicking 4 goals to zip in that first term. The second term, well, pretty square. Port Adelaide, though, a little wasteful. 2 goals, 7 to 6-2 here at half-time, so 19 points to Glenelg. Chris Curran, the skipper, has been terrific down back. Agnew and Snoot good in the centre of the ground, and single goal kickers there for Port Adelaide. And we look at that, Timmy. Glenelg, well, their uncontested possession in the second semi was an area where they did struggle against Port Adelaide, but they've got more of the ball on the outside today.
They have, and they've been a lot cleaner in close. So I think their forward inside 50 entries have been a lot better than Port Adelaide's. We just saw Port Adelaide with the breeze that quarter just get really untidy and a bit undisciplined with a lot of players going up and not many staying down.
Well, Port Adelaide had a nice momentum shift in that second term last week. He started the game with a goal early on, and look, it was all Glenelg to get things moving. 4 goals in that first term.
Yeah, they settled so much better than Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide looked like a very young, inexperienced, nervous team. Took them a long time, halfway through the second quarter, to settle down, and I thought the experience and the harder-nosed players of the Bays played really well.
Well, you look at this goal here that came from Reynolds in the opening minute of that second term, and you thought, well, Port Adelaide are in trouble, but they really worked their way back in. Tobin Cox plays tall for a little man. Also, Billy Frampton's got himself in so many good positions, but finally able to put one through.
Yes, it took a long time, and Port Adelaide just have to hang in there. I mean, at the moment, that margin, 19 points, you got to get the first 2 goals and keep settled. If they're within 2 or 3 goals at three-quarter time, they're a chance. Yep. If they're 5 or 6 down, then the Bays will go on and win it.
Well, Timmy, grand finals going on everywhere at the moment too, across South Australia and even further up north, like here in the APY lands, and have a look at that, plenty of dust there. This is the Central Swans up against the Winter Jalangu Saints, and have a look at the speed on the game, Timmy.
Amazing. I'm not sure about the curator, whether you can get that lawn up a bit more, but gee whiz, that's tough conditions, isn't it?
Unbelievable. Well, the Swans did get up by 8 points, and we'll have the story on 7 News tonight.
Awesome.
Fantastic footy, some very, very nice skills, and I'd imagine some cut-up knees, Timmy, too, looking at that deck there. Right now, it is Port Adelaide trailing by 19 points at half-time here in the SANFL Grand Final. We've got Mark of the Year coming up next, and Goal of the Year too. Glenelg Football Club, 19 points up here at half-time, 1986. 33 years ago, the last time they were able to raise the cup, Timmy. They're looking pretty good at the moment.
Oh, they'd be feeling good in those rooms at the moment. The way they're going about their football has been very, very grand final-like.
Yes, it has. Well, we've had our Powerade Breakthrough player throughout this year. We have nominations every week. Thanks to Powerade for your wonderful support. And John Casey caught up with the winner of the Powerade Breakthrough Player of the Year a little earlier.
Thanks very much, Soda. And I've got Phil Doyle from Coca-Cola and Cole Gerloff here with me, who is the winner of the Powerade Breakthrough Player. One of the most prestigious awards that's been going for some time, Phil.
It has, yeah. It was introduced in 2007, and it's designed to recognise and reward emerging young talent in the SANFL statewide Super League. So, look, on behalf of Coca-Cola and the Powerade brand, I just want to say congratulations, Cole, on a fantastic season.
It has been an outstanding year, Cole. You must be thrilled. You were top 10 in the league in tackles. You're better than a goal a game as well. So not here on grand final day playing, but for you personally, it's been a great year.
Yeah, moving forward, it was a bit disappointing with our season as a team, but personally, I'm happy with the way I played this year. But yeah, the only thing I really enjoy is playing in September at Adelaide Oval with all our boys, and unfortunately we're not there today, but I know in 12 months' time we'll come back better and stronger. So.
Jackson Hately won this award last year. He's now in the AFL. Jared Leonard won a couple of years ago, and he's now playing with Port Adelaide. And you're off to state screening for the AFL, so that dream's still alive for you as well.
Yeah, yep. So, yeah, I've had a little bit of interest, but not much at all. I'm not trying to get too caught up in it at all, but if that happens, yeah, it would a dream come true. But I'm happy where I am now at the Redlegs, and next year, within the next 12 months, if it doesn't happen, there's always brighter and bigger things to come. So
we'll certainly love to have you remaining here in the SANFL. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Cole Gerloff there with that win. And Timmy G, of course, we have our Mark and Goal here to have a look at. Let's have a look at the Channel 7 Goal of the Year. Now, of course, the votes came in on the Facebook page for the SANFL, and well, it was Marty Frederick that did very, very well, but not quite did he get there. This was the winner from Don Barry.
Just a beautiful volley straight through the middle there at the parade. An outstanding goal, and the Channel 7 Goal of the Year goes to Don Barry.
Plenty of class about that man. He had a great season for Norwood. Just missed out on the Team of the Year, but he did have a wonderful season. Picks up $500 there, which is terrific for him. And let's go and have a look at our Mark of the Year. And this one is courtesy of Skilled Careers, Corey Gregson from the Bays.
Let's have a look at this, Mark. That is a hanger. In every sense of the word, in the tradition of this great game, that is a hanger. What a magnificent mark.
Very nice. Skilled Careers Mark of the Year, Corey Gregson, who's done pretty well at the moment. The statewide sprint, Timmy G, we love this, the grand final sprint. And, well, the man that gets things going. Have a look there, the boy in the Central's jumper there, number 32. He's got James Matthews and Lee Minavini there to get rid of them. And it is Lachlan Grubb who gets up for Central District, just sneaks it home.
Great run, wasn't it? Terrific on the
Absolutely.
inside. Pretty even competition, though.
Yeah, it did very well. His charity is Novita, so well done to Lachlan Grubb from Central District winning the half-time sprint. Plenty more to come after the break, the second half of the 2019 SANFL Statewide Super League Grand Final. Statewide Super Mini Leaguer of the Year now, and Statewide Super have been wonderful supporters of the SANFL competition. If you're interested in the Mini League, make sure you contact your local SANFL club. Let's head down to Andrew Hayes now with the Mini Leaguer of the Year.
Well, this is the big one, the grand final edition, which means it's the Statewide Super Mini Leaguer of the Year, Jimmy Hill from the Mitcham Hawks. Congratulations, mate. It's yours. And what about this? That is all yours. Where's that going to go? Will Mum let you hang that up in the room?
Yeah, hopefully in my room, yeah.
All right, mate, take us through it. We know you love footy. You play footy. What sort of footy player are you?
Well, I'm a midfielder and I love to get the ball.
So you rack up heaps of touches?
Yeah.
You're a Bays man, yeah?
Yeah.
Favourite player?
Marlon Motlop.
Oh, he's very smooth. How many goals do you reckon Marlon's going to kick today?
I reckon 3.
Hopefully he kicks 3, maybe 3 or 4. Hey, if I give you $1 million, let's just play hypotheticals, what are you going to spend it on?
A Lamborghini.
A Lamborghini. So you're a Glenelg man, so you could just go down, cut some laps on Jetty Road in the Lambo.
Yeah.
Mate, congratulations. Huge achievement. You're the statewide Super Mini Leaguer of the Year. Hopefully, for your sake, the Bays get up to date.
Yeah, hopefully.
Back to you, Soda.
Good on you, Hazy. And if Jimmy Hill is driving his Lamborghini down the bay, he'd have Dad Simon riding shotgun next to him, of course, the former Glenelg captain. He'll be very nervous right about now, Jimmy's dad, Simon. And, well, they're 19 points up, Glenelg, but, look, it's not a long way away for Port Adelaide, Timmy. A couple of quick ones and we're on.
Oh, look, they have to be a lot more tidy with what they do. Also, being able to string possessions together. I think the Bays, they've worked overtime so far in this first half to get this lead. It's now Port Adelaide's role to make sure that they make a game of it and hang in there, because I reckon the Bays, they might just feel the effects of that game last week in the last quarter. But this is the quarter. They always say it's the premiership quarter. Well, it's that for a reason, because you can set the win up. And this is what the Bays will want to do with this breeze.
Just looking at the stats there on the right-hand side of the screen. 14 to 21 in terms of clearances, Port Adelaide's favour. They've had some good service from Drew, Atlee, Laddams and Sutcliffe in that area, Timmy, but they haven't been able to turn those clearances into goals, but they have had plenty of inside 50s as well too. So it's not as perhaps one-sided as 19 points might suggest.
No, I think they really did get some ascendancy in the back half of that second term. It just wasn't done very cleanly, and they'd want to try and tidy that up a little bit. As the game goes on, you do get a bit more time to be able to use your possession. So really vital time for Port Adelaide this third term. Centre clearances will have a lot to do with it, and that's where the Bays have been very good.
Port Adelaide have been the best finishing team in the competition. They've won 16 of their 20 final terms, so they know if they get to three-quarter time within a couple of goals, they'd be feeling very, very confident. Timmy, what margin? What do you reckon they need to peg it back to be a real big chance by three-quarter time?
Under 3 goals. Under 3 goals, so it's 19 points at the moment. If it's around the 13 to 15 sort of mark, that's okay.
And came up to win, Jimmy, so there's some food for thought as well as we get underway in the second half. Snook gets into the back of his opponent. There it goes, unwhistled. Hot footy, lean it. He overruns it. Mays doing well. Drew dragged off it. Appleton can't control it. Woodcock, solid contact there. Good tackle against Partington over the ball. Umpire will come in and we will reset.
There might have been a few different names in that team, John, about 25 years ago.
Well, still down at three-quarter time in that game by 2 goals, but stormed home to win it with a 9-goal final quarter. To give some optimism to our Magpie viewers, taking our exclusive coverage
good
here on Channel 7. It was Scharenberg to Scott. They kicked the first goal in the opening quarter, the first in the second, and the Tigers have got the first in the third and extend the margin to 25 points.
Some rides are better than others. Compare your usual rideshare app with Ola. When it comes to the number of cars, they've both got heaps. Probably the same drivers too. Same so far. But when you arrive, why pay the usual when Ola works out way cheaper? And with Ola, drivers keep more of the fare, so they want your ride. Need a ride? Download the Ola app and get 50% off rides for the first 2 weeks. Ola! Same, but better.
Well, we're talking about how clean the Bays are from clearance are, and look at that handball, the falling. Scharenberg gets it off magnificently to Scott. He doesn't let his teammates down on the National Pharmacy's optical replay. Kicks the first goal of the third term.
3 goals last week for Scott. He's already got 2. The umpire will have to recall that. And for a man who missed a lot of footy with that arm injury, broke the arm in round 3. It was a horrible break. We broadcast that game against South Adelaide. Came back, had some issues with a little chip from when the plate was in. Some talk that they didn't put the right screws in to that arm, but he's been terrific again today, Josh Scott, following up from last week as free kick Bays way. Snook drops it in short. Jesse White came to Glenelg as a forward. He's been used in the ruck since pretty much the middle of last year or late last year and has been terrific. Garner fires out a handball. Leanett goes over the top. Too much for Sammy Mays. Last touch out of bounds, you heard Tim say. So Michael Virgin, the man who could not get a game at the Roosters, went back to local footy. He's come to the Bays, goes forward. McBean pushed out of the way there by McKenzie, out of bounds.
See, Port Adelaide's last play, trying to get out of defence there. That's been typical of their day. They really struggled to string 2-3 possessions together.
Spot on. Tim's been very stagnant when they try to break off that half back, and they are trying to use their voice down here at ground level to inspire that run and push off and try and create something.
Hayes gets to the shallow throw in. McKenzie, and now a free kick going his way. He came in over the top. Just hasn't had the influence Trent McKenzie was able to have the last time these two sides played, when he was best for Port with 28 disposals. Here he is driving them out to the outer side. Laddam's the target, under pressure there, has the ball knocked away and out of bounds by Maxi Proud.
Yeah, 2-7 to 7-2 says it all, doesn't it? And I reckon sometimes you can say, oh, we were in the game because we had the same scoring shots. Well, I say you weren't, because obviously the other team are able to make those opportunities easier to get.
Snook did well. Agnew, quick hands. Partington drives Glenelg forward once more, close to the boundary line. It's been taken there by Corcoran, and he can relieve some pressure. Again, it's stagnant up the line for him. Just not a lot of work being done off the ball by Port Adelaide. No one's standing the mark, so Corcoran did well there, read that, and decided to go for distance, but going back with a fly to the ball. And this has been the key to the Tigers. Mentioned it earlier, their defence, it's just stood so firm all year. And Max Proud to centre half forward. McBean on the charge here. Ball pitches ahead of him. Did well to control that. Got the quick kick away. Garner with problem. Motlop lurking at the back. Taps it to his own advantage in a confined space. Wants to take them on. Dances around a would-be tackler and comes up with a finish as well. Motlop, what a finish for his second.
When you're an RAA member, you can focus on what matters most. You see, our members are at the heart of everything we do. And everything we do is to keep our members moving.
Are we members, Mummy?
Of course. Because we're locals too, moving with you right here in South Australia. RAA.
Keep on moving on.
It was an incredibly damaging goal, this is. Stepping inside and around and then check siding it through. That's the skill level and the magic of Marlon Motlop. And that's a bad missed tackle and a terrific goal. The Bays off to a fly in the third term.
Willem Drew pick up the free kick. Motlop gets his second. He's kicked 2 in each of the finals so far this year, as Drew's kick is a bit of a wobbler. Strong hands by Virgin. Took 7 marks last week. Real barometer, he and Liam McBean around the club just with their enthusiasm. Drew crunched in by Gregson. Appleton taken down by Agnew. Appleton was a late inclusion for Strange today.
The crowd are really warming as well. There's been a couple of spots of rain around in the half-time break, but have a look at the hill. It is jam-packed up there. And I'll tell you what, if you're going to need your screw-ins, if you're going to go to the bar to get a tray, you got to keep your feet up there this afternoon.
Going forward, Laddams takes the mark. So an opportunity presents here for Port Adelaide. And there you can see what Brett Bidlins is talking about. Massive crowd. And we'll breach the 30,000 mark. What has been a battle between first and second on the ladder this season. Glenelg with 13 wins and 2 draws, just 3 losses in the minor round, and Port Adelaide a 13-5 record. They were 2 games clear, or 2 wins clear of Adelaide, Sturt and Norwood. They made up the last 5, but Peter Laddams now with an important kick. 2 goals against Glenelg when they played back in round 14. From outside 50, didn't get a good piece of it, sliding across the face of goal. Marshall rarely sided. In fact, it's Frampton who's taken the mark.
That's his best contested work today, isn't it? Really was up against it there on a really good opponent in Proud, or Ubergang it was, sorry, and he takes the mark. And now really needs to kick this goal for Port Adelaide to have any grand final hopes.
A goal kicker in the second quarter. Frampton, tight angle. Split webbing on his hand as well. But this will give Port Adelaide something to cheer about, but he skinnies it to the near side and a minor score. The shooting woes continue in terms of 2 goals, 8 to palindrome scoreboard with Glenelg 8-2.
Yep, that's it. Continues on at the other end. The Bays are very, very good and clean.
Teenager Will Gould goes up to McBean, who flies high, couldn't hold it. Agnew about to give it, then pulls his way out, goes forward strong by Scharenberg. Looks inside, McBean on the move, little fumble, but he's quick enough. Goes to Josh Scott. He's got a little bit of separation from Garner, couldn't pick it up, and he's going to get the free kick here.
I reckon Garner's done this 3 times in the final series where he doesn't go low with his hands. He stands up in the contest, and of course that's happened 3 times.
And Josh Scott's already kicked a goal to start this term within the first minute of the 3rd term. He's got 2 for the game. He kicked 3 last week. And despite the tough season he's had with that broken arm, you can see he's still got a bit of a protection guard on it. He is a fantastic player, and he's generally a pretty good kick, Tim.
Oh, look, he's been an inspiring player for him coming back from that arm. He's a courageous player. He'll want to finish this one as well. He's been good.
20 goals from 10 games, hangs it out to the right and doesn't bring it back.
I don't know why players do that. They change their whole body direction to where they're going in line with the goals, and they want to go out to the right. And of course, that's where the ball stays.
So 4-1 in the opening quarter for Glenelg, 2-1 in the second quarter, and 2-1 in the third so far, but only 9 minutes travelled as Mackenzie runs out of fullback. High ball. Frampton did that well. Strong hands there against good opposition from Ubergang, and he plays on off the canvas. Trengove, his kick, lost a lot there. Of Laddam's caught behind, comes to Sutcliffe, unprotected goal square, works around the body, all dependent on the bounce. Oh, that's a terrific finish. A captain's goal from Cam Sutcliffe gets the Magpies back to within 19.
8 celebrities will compete, but there can only be one baby.
Get down and do it.
Right. I don't feel sexy. When you become a mum, you feel like a part of yourself shuts down. That part of you that is just for you.
See Jessica Rowe like you've never seen her before. It's the dance spectacular of the year. The Real Dirty Dancing starts next Monday, 7:30 on 7.
Well, good contest here, but this is a magnificent goal by the captain. Sutcliffe around the body from 50. Terrific kick. And Port Adelaide get one back.
Kicked the goal in the second semi-final, Sutcliffe. Drew. Snook looking for a free kick there. A couple of contested ball. Tough units there, Drew, Snook. You got Atley in there as well. Snook gets it this time. Clearance. Going back is Garner.
He'll always do that. He's courageous, but just got to work on that stuff below his knees.
It was great courage into Ellsworthy, boy from Kadina on the York Peninsula, former Eagles junior, looking for Mays, and the free kick's going to go his way against McCarthy. So Port Adelaide just mounting a little bit of a challenge here. 25 points is the margin at the moment, up from the 19 points at half-time.
Trent McKenzie's gone forward here for Port Adelaide as well, Soda. Looks as though he may have changed with Marshall. He's gone back in defence.
Into the direction of McCarthy. Let him run onto it. He had Scharenberg inside, but goes to McBean. Good kick. Really good kick to advantage, Tim.
Outstanding. McBean loves that sort of delivery, don't worry. And I'm not sure about that move, and that McKenzie's been very good so far. And McBean might just get a little lease on life.
Marshall's got some great movement about him, and Bean actually went straight at him prior to the kick. That's how he just got a little bit of separation. So the pre-work before the ball comes down by the gun forward, just outstanding.
53 goals for the year, the same as Reynolds, and this kick has just a little skinny.
Look good from this angle. Would have been an absolute ripper had he got it.
Colina will restart. He's going up the corridor. Big pack, clears them all. At the back, Virgin rushes through, did that strongly. Snook, his hand pass for Nicholson. His hand pass was a tough one. Reynolds just did it, paddled it sideways, got it to Snook. Here's Partington, the McGarry medalist from 50, wobbles it and wobbles it home. Tigers kick their ninth.
Rover and I do everything together. He's reliable and never lets me down. Rover, you're my best mate. Rover, a gardener's best friend.
Allington's, for the largest range of country clothing, workwear and western wear. In store and online. Visit allingtons.com.au. New season range now available.
Just watch this piece of play. Beautifully unselfish by hand are the Bays, and even that on fire. Bays a commanding lead now.
Tim, you made a good point earlier. Glenelg very good with their hands, just in close. Michael Virgin, great work to help set that one up, and finished by the McGarry medalist Motlop. Laddams gets around. Atley, little high one, but it's going to go okay. Spotted Garner out to his left. So Joel Garner puts Port into attack. Frampton, good position, knocked down by Gould. Through the legs of Farrell. Under pressure from Joseph. And out on the full, it's going to go maybe Glenelg's way by the look of this. Yes, it is. So Aaron Joseph with it, Josh Scott rather.
It came off of Farrell's feet. And that's because he didn't get down low, below his knees.
That sharp in close handball you're talking about, so that has been spectacular at the centre bounce. They have been taking it clean off both ruckmen's hand, but just really short, sharp and precise. One of the reasons why they've got some nice movement out of that centre bounce area.
Michael Virgin, little chip over the top as Glenelg just maintain possession and work it methodically.
Max Proud with it now. Reigning best and fairest winner. They're happy to just soak up some time here as Virgin comes across. Will Gould next in line, and he drives up towards centre wing. It's well wide. Hewitt from Port Adelaide. Let's get to some more Morn team forward footy trivia for Tim Ginniver, who was Glenelg's leading goal kicker in its 1985 premiership season. Johnny Seabohm, Steve Kernahan, Tony Hall, Stephen Copping. In 1985, their premiership season. Some superstars there. I'll let you ponder that, Tim, as the boundary throw in.
Couldn't have been Johnny Seabohm. I think he was sent half back.
Atley close to the boundary line here. Adams brings it over. Well, time's up, Tim. Who was Glenelg's leading goal kicker in 1985 when they won the flag?
Well, you may be surprised at this, but it was the veteran at that time, Stephen Copping.
Spot on, Timmy. Lock it in. 83 goals from Steve Copping.
That's a big season.
That's some good players around him too.
Oh, Kernahan and Hall, who I think took out the Jack Odie medals in both their premierships, 85-86.
Yep, they did.
I'm good at trivia today.
Stephen Kernahan flown over today too for this game. Be very, very excited. Just the way they're going at the moment. Still plenty of time left for the Maggies. Laddams going at it. Snook gives it to Motlop. Kicked a beautiful goal earlier this term. Good contest by Scott. Going back to Garner. Did well. Just a little fumble, but good enough to get it to Corcoran. Gives it to Hewitt, and the Maggies are out now, but it's 2-on-2 on the outer wing. Sutcliffe. Tobin Cox just knocked it back to his skipper. Little give is good to Mays. It's going to go short. Frampton. He too has got one on. The kick isn't bad at all. Just a little too much for Davidson, and Curran content to see it out.
There's been a lot of non-contributors for Port Adelaide today. Too many not finding the footy or being able to make an impact by pressure acts, and the Bays have been all over that. They've been superb in close, they've been unselfish, they've been first to the footy, all the things you want on grand final day.
And Davidson, one of those with just the one kick today so far. Close, just tried to shovel it to McCarthy. Look at the work rate though of Sutcliffe as he barrels in over the boundary line to force another throw in. You mentioned Kernahan, Steve Kernahan flying in for the game, Soda. To see Lockie Hosey had flown in from Melbourne as well. He was in the rooms with Glenelg, his former teammates. pre-game as well. Of course, taken in the mid-season draft. Very close to making an AFL debut. Here's White, took it out of the ruck against Frampton, then went back into traffic, and he was taken solidly, but he's won a free kick here. The tackle's a little too high, according to the umpire.
Well, there you go. That's an experienced AFL player versus an inexperienced AFL player.
We're trying to find some vision of Stephen Kernahan here in the grandstand. We know he had a couple of functions to attend to today, but with some strong suspicions, we reckon he's up on the hill with Nick Jigwidden.
Well, why not? The 21 free kicks to 13 in favour of Glenelg in this game. And Mackenzie there just to escort that over, approaching the 18-minute mark of the third quarter. And Port Adelaide with just 1 goal to their tally since half-time and 3 for the game.
Yeah, it's not been great. Glenelg, you know, some of the stats, they're not damning at all against Port Adelaide, but that's where stats can lie.
Free kick to Jesse White. This is possession number 13, and 11 of them have been contested. He's got 6 clearances, more than anyone on the field, 5 to Snook and 5 to Willem Drew in terms of clearances. And boy, hasn't he been an asset to them as a ruckman. We know Laddams has been fantastic this year, but White's been good as well. That mark there taken by Marshall, who's been sent down to defence, the former off-spinner with the New South Wales under-18 cricket team. Come from a big height as an off-spinner too. Farrell sets it up, goes down the line. Atley and Virgin going at it. Davidson looks like he's going to get a free kick here. He worked that one quite nicely, flung the arms back, and Port with an opportunity at half forward, almost into time on here in this third term. He gives it to Marshall, goes in long and hard with a flat kick. Frampton was the target. Mays just overruns it. Here's Nicholson, had a fantastic first term.
Oh, what a kick.
And look at this kick to close is good. Just couldn't get hold of it. Tommy Corcoran comes in close, still going at it, and ball up centre of the ground.
Well, they'll watch the game back and they'll say that moments like this where he's outnumbered and he's able to create a stoppage.
Sam Mays with 19 and Snook likewise to lead their respective teams in terms of disposals. Laddams in the ruck did well. Willem Drew, left footer inside the attacking 50. Frampton the target, coming across the front. Terrific grab taken there by Chris Curran.
Well, he's been doing it all year, leading by example as usual, and so often he's been able to show that courage across the front of the pack.
So reliable. His kick out wide and finds Partington. Tigers have kicked 3 goals to 1 in this term. Led by 22 at quarter time, 19 at half time, up to 32 points at the moment as Partington looks towards Motlop. Driving Ellsworthy did well, brought it to ground and didn't break stride as he now kicks forward once more. They're outnumbered here, the Magpies. I know with numbers in defence. Well, Bradley dragged off. It needed to be a little quicker. And incorrect disposal is the call. Free kick going the way now of Kane. There's a good kick, Farrell, but not too far out. So he's going to get it to the top of the square. Mackenzie the target, couldn't complete it. This is Tobin Cox, his hand pass. Well, wasn't a good one for Drew. Had to just lean back and try and control it. Now he's got problems. Dragged down there by Michael Virgin, and will have a ball up.
Everything's been hard work today for Port Adelaide, hasn't it? And the Bays have made sure of it.
Laddams will try to tap it out the back to Trengove. Laddams came back, wrapped up by McBean. Free kick going the way of Glenelg here. And Curran will receive it. So they've got all the answers at the moment, the Tigers, as we head toward three-quarter time.
9 marks for the skipper, Curran, so far today. Ubergang into the side for Josh Costa. Scharenberg gets in front of Marshall, tries to recover well. Appleton getting in there as well. Little slap forward from Bradley. Davidson goes in with a hard body. Bradley shoots a little handball out. Drew and Gregson at it. Drew tunnel balls it to Hayes. Little Cook, kick around the corner. Fellow big man, Laddams, playing in front. Pupsy's kick in. Position for Mackenzie. He had 3 Tigers to deal with. The commitment from Virgin and Gould was strong. Mackenzie stationed forward now. Have a look at that work.
Yeah, outstanding. It's just sheer work rate, desire, and discipline from the Bays today that has set this game up for victory.
Laddams at the front, McBean at the back, slaps it down. Sutcliffe overrun there by Partington, gives him the handball, smacks it, slap hard into the head. Snook onto it. Good little hands. They're the hands we've been talking about. They've been terrific in that area. The kick from Motlop is just an inside-out right foot kick. There is nobody within a bull's roar for the Bays as Cochrane's a good kick there, Tommy Corcoran, and he's got Tobin Cox at half forward.
He's got numbers inboard if he wants to use them, but reluctant to go there. Lead comes now from Mackenzie, working into the pocket, 2 to beat. Just had to try and knock it down there. Nicholson dragged off the hand pass. McBean back doing the defending. In fact, all 36 are compressed into one half of the ground at the moment. Garner against Motlop needs support. Missed the target. This is good. His kick will be cut off by Leanett. Been impressed with him today. He spirals one toward the top of the square. No one can complete the mark. Here's Mays. Kick was partially smothered. Partington with it now and a chance to relieve some pressure as he looks up and pinpoints Brad Agnew.
Port Adelaide have gone 3 times in there, and every time just a big high bomb, which I think they've got to find a different way of going in. It's just not working, and the Bays have been terrific at dropping back.
Well, Timmy, that inside 50 count now is +4 Port Adelaide's way.
But not pretty.
They have time and space going inside forward 50 as well. They just seem to be panicking a little bit with those kicks and getting it onto the boot much quicker than they need to, because there are options popping up here across half forward. If they can lower their eyes a little bit, Port can get themselves back into the game by trusting themselves with this shorter kick.
What we're seeing here with Glenelg just being able to maintain possession, they're just being outplayed at the moment, Port Adelaide. And as we know, Glenelg, the minor premiers, are a very good team. Snook, well done, Frederick, to knock down the hand pass. Wanted help. Hewitt was there for him. Here's Leanett back into traffic. Again, a high ball. Laddams will have to contest here. Comes strongly. Couldn't take the mark. Appleton, underground hand pass between the legs of Joseph, if you don't mind. Tobin Cox, his kick for Mackenzie. Over the back. Well done, Max Proud. It's Sutcliffe involved as well. Port Adelaide, well, it is hard work. This is tremendous defensive pressure again from Glenelg. Joseph went hard there at Mackenzie. Curran, here's Proud. That's almost incorrect disposal. Call play on. Neat kick. Well, he read that well. Atley gets it to Sutcliffe for the finishing touches. Something for the Port Adelaide fans to cling to.
When you're an RAA member, you can focus on what matters most. You see, our members are at the heart of everything we do. And everything we do is to keep our members moving.
Are we members, Mummy?
Of course. Because we're locals too, moving with you right here in South Australia. RAA.
Keep on moving on.
A series of possessions eventually hit Sutcliffe, who steadied and had some poise about him, which Port Adelaide haven't been able to show a lot of. And he gets his second goal and a much-needed one for the Magpies.
Port Adelaide have got 7 players in their forward line here at the moment, so they're going to be penalised for it, or do they get a warning to start? No, it is a penalised, so free kick to Glenelg. Not quite sure what happened there, but 7 players were in their forward line, and so Jesse White is going to be marched down to centre half forward with a chance to get a quick reply.
Well, that's a severe penalty too.
After all that hard work, 12 minutes of no goal.
Yeah.
Sutcliffe, cool, calm and collected, slots it through, and this one could go straight back Glenelg's way.
Jesse White being so dominant, the oldest man on the ground today at 31 years of age, just pushes it out to the left. It's a minor score.
That could have been very costly for Port Adelaide. They want to be a bit smarter than that. But it's probably depicted the day. It's been untidy, clunky for them, and the Bays have forced most of that upon them.
Certainly hasn't been a warning down here from the umpires at all with extra numbers within that forward 50 arc. So may have been a little bit of footy god straightening things up in that one, because they were quick to pay the 50.
Frampton, free kick, little chip over the top to Trengove. He goes inboard on his left. The former Demons captain going back was Davidson. Couldn't bring it in.
He didn't go back.
Proud. You're right, Tim. Didn't go back hard enough. Here he goes. Here's a chance to atone for it. Over the top to Farrell. Goes in. Here's Sutcliffe for his third. No. Still got another chance. Now he's got his third. Sutcliffe gets them that little bit closer. 21 points. Timmy G, it's enough. just to feel a little sniff. They probably need one more.
Even that wasn't clean. Even that wasn't easy, was it? It just should have been a running over the top goal. But here, the desperation of the Bays just getting a touch to it. And eventually Sutcliffe gets his third. He's been working overtime for the Maggies. And as I said, I thought if Port Adelaide were in under 3 goals, they're half a chance, because the Bays have put an enormous amount of effort into this grand final so far. They've done just about everything right. But they did play a prelim and a tough one in hot conditions last week.
Glenelg have kicked 3 goals in this quarter. Cam Sutcliffe's kicked 3 goals in this quarter for Port Adelaide. 21 is the margin. And we started this term with Glenelg in front by 19. Almost 28 minutes played. There might be a lot of time left on the clock in bright sunshine. A terrific contest to bring the curtain down on the 2019 SANFL Statewide Super League season. As we look to celebrate a 7th different premiership winner in the last 10 years. Free kick going the way here is Scharenberg. He wants to get on with it. Invariably, they've had the quick reply every time Port Adelaide have challenged today, Glenelg. And Marshall just getting after McBean there. As the ball trickles down out of bounds, boundary throw in. Not a lot of time on the clock. Magpies need to hang tough here.
If they can, I think the move of McKenzie and Marshall might work. But I'd like to see McKenzie get a chance with the breeze.
Shallow throw in, right by Hayes, although he tapped it straight to the advantage of Partington, who had front position against Appleton. And a tangle of arms and legs, and the umpire's going to come in once more.
Just on that man as well, Trent McKenzie, he spent the last 4 or 5 minutes on the bench. He's got a bit of a gash in his left leg, so they've got that strapped up, so he should be out in the next couple of minutes, you'd think.
Scharenberg to Bailey, and Willem Drew flicks him out over the boundary line. 21 points. So essentially, Tim, we talked about how important the start was. 4 goals to zip in that first quarter.
Yeah.
22 points up at quarter time. Since then, well, we've been all square.
That's what a fast start can do for you. And it's proven that way just about all season, according to John Casey. Most people who win the first quarter win the game.
It's happened all during the final series.
High kick to Proud. Sister Maddie's already celebrated a netball win in the National Netball League for the Swifts. As the umpire just was about to get out to Frederick, and he was off. Umpire Harris takes control of the half-forward line here for Glenelg. 29 minutes 40 gone in this term.
Drew dragged off the kick. Half volleyed there by Tobin Cox. Wrapped up in a strong tackle by McCarthy. Going nowhere, umpire's going to come in at centre wing here. Took over 30 minutes played in this third quarter. One of these teams going to break their premiership drought as White and Laddams go at it again. Now, White did that well, worked it over the back. Andrew Bradley with a run of it. Just couldn't control it. Good second effort from Appleton. Scharenberg gets involved once more. Farrell went off the ground. And siren in the background. 30.5 minutes played in the third with 1 quarter to play. Glenelg led it by 21 points. Stay with us here on Channel 7 as we head toward the conclusion of the 2019 SANFL Statewide Super League Grand Final.
That man on screen there, Cam Sutcliffe, had a fantastic, sensational, in fact, third term. Have a look at that. He had 6 possessions, kicked 3 goals. He only kicked 8 goals for the season coming into this game. He kicked 3 in that term. And he's dragged his team, well, back within 21 points. It was a 19-point break at half-time. And his third term, yeah, those 3 goals from 6 possessions has been a terrific performance by him. 11 touches by Snook in that term has been pretty impressive. Timmy, looking at the third quarter again there, it was, well, square in terms of output on the scoreboard. And this is the work of Sutcliffe in this term we've just had.
Yeah, well, it was blowing out and really looked like it was pretty bad conditions for Port Adelaide, as the Bays were kicking some really good goals, but this man really just worked really hard in the third term to just keep his team slightly alive in this premiership contest.
Let's head down to Red Biglands with Mark Stone.
Mark, you really worked hard to hold field position in that term.
Well, we tried to, yeah. I thought they made a couple of changes which were important. Mackenzie went forward and Marshall went back, took a couple of marks. So that sort of stopped us a little bit. But we've got to try and get in and bring it to ground up there. We think that's where we can get them, is on ground ball in the forward 50.
And what was the final message to the team?
Just be wary of the guys spitting forward on us, because they're trying to go for broke a little bit. And really, the last message was put your arm around the guy next to you and fight to the very end.
Well, there he is, Mark Stone. He's had a decade and a half in the AFL system at Fremantle. He's been at West Coast and he's also been at Sydney. He's come to this club over the past 2 years, Glenelg, and well, they won their last 6 games last year, and they've had a terrific season so far, and right now they are in the box seat to take this one home.
I think a very good AFL coach, I think, with the experience he has. But right now he's trying to win a flag for Glenelg for the first time in 33 years. So we get set to go in the final quarter. It's a 21-point margin in favour of the Tigers. And they've kicked the first goal in each of the first 3 terms, although Port Adelaide are the best final quarter team in the competition. Have been all year. Not going forward at the moment, though, because the Tigers have got an appetite for it. Look at Matty Snook. Been outstanding today. 22 disposals, 4 tackles, 5 clearances.
He's been doing it all year. That's why their midfield has been so good. Agnew, Partington, Snoop, Jesse White, really good.
Close. Dispossessed. Port Adelaide, well, they need to get proactive here. They can't afford to let the time just dwindle. They need to make a promising start. Well, they're not going to get it though. Snook charges through the congestion, kicks out wide, got the lead on from McBean, and he just fends off Tommy Corcoran there, says, out of the way, I'm feeding this back inside. Missed the target, but it comes to Scott. One way, back the other, quickly onto the boot. They've done it again. Kicked the first goal in each of the 4 quarters, and the Tigers are roaring.
At Core Physiotherapy and Pilates Studio, improving your health is our business. So don't wait for the day to feel better. Contact us about our introductory offer and find it today. Core Physiotherapy and Pilates Studio, we're central to your health.
Spitwater, Australia's largest manufacturer of hard-working industrial high-pressure cleaners. Spitwater carries a full range of spare parts, have qualified service technicians and fully equipped on-site service vans. Spitwater, that's what it does. 495 Grand Junction Road, Winfield, or go online.
They've started every quarter fast like this, and McBean just centering it up, and just a step inside and an easy goal. Josh Scott, absolute heart and soul of that Bay forward line, and just terrific.
Matches his 3 goals from the prelim final with 3 in this grand final. Partington, Drew just sweating over the top of him. Agnew goes in and comes out to Snook. Half his possessions have been contested today again as Reynolds in the front. Scott, he's got a runner, gives it to Nicholson, through the middle, finds a gap. Nicholson just pulls it across the body from behind, and just sneak out that little bit further now to 28 points.
Mackenzie's kick was dangerous. Just came unstuck. Again, Glenelg pressing here, forcing Port Adelaide into error. Snook involved once more, looking to draw a free kick. Wasn't getting anything from the umpire there. Garner in over the top of him. Ball squirts out. Nicholson comes again. Good hands there from Hayes, the ruckman, to knock it down. Marshall around the body with a twirling high ball. Laddam's the target, wrestled off it there by Will Gould. You have to like that from the 18-year-old. Just manhandled Laddams there out of the way. Now he's in over the back, and that's why he's so highly regarded. Will Gould, the 18-year-old, the youngest player out there today. Dual All-Australian, the under-18 level.
Reminds me of Shannon Hearn, the way he plays the game.
Lean it. Quick kick up towards half forward. Again, Laddams the target, did well, worked to the front against Gould, close to the boundary line, tries to shrug the tackle. Gets it away. Appleton now lean it once more, has been influential. Good kick from him going back. Trengove with courage takes the mark.
It was a courageous mark. Port Adelaide have just, started each quarter just below par. And the Bays have been so intense early, and they've been able to get early goals because of it.
The first term, Reynolds kicked the goal in the first 3 minutes, then he kicked 1 in the first minute in the second term, and Scott, well, has done the same thing in the 3rd and 4th quarters.
So Trengove with 9 goals this year, finished second semi-final with 16 disposals and 10 tackles. Top 5 in the McGarry medal, and the sentiment in the team of the year for 2019. Can he give his Magpies something to work with here as he comes forward from 45 out, just shading to the near side, and it's a minor score.
That would have been a handy one just to keep the game alive for Port Adelaide.
I had listening to the Port Adelaide huddle at three-quarter time, and Trent Henschel, their forward line coach, was talking to his line about pushing up higher up the footy. He said they were getting caught too far back behind the play and they needed to push up and create more options.
McBean in front of Woodcock. Good mark by the big fella. Had the moon boot on. Bad kick though. Woodcock cuts it off nicely. Nicholson, McBean, the hands are good again to McCarthy. McBean just drops a left footer. Agnew could run onto it.
Oh, jeez.
Going down though, Garner just went with a little shepherd, but just losing his footing. Is it Tom Corcoran?
Yep.
I think it was. He had a pretty solid second semi-final. Hasn't had a great day today, Tommy. Laddams, Drew does it nicely. Flicks one out. Woodcock. Here's McKenzie. Stationed back in defence. Goes with a long, hard kick. Ubergang. Had a tough day against Frampton. Probably neither of them having a huge match, just almost cancelled each other out. Billy, a couple of opportunities though, as the kick from Joseph. He's been a cool, calm, collected head. 30-year-old in defence. Reynolds, a couple of goals to his name. Kick 5 in the prelim. Sets it up to half forward again. Scott, McBean stays down. Frederick onto it. Reynolds. This comes back to Hewitt. Little handball to Drew. Hewitt under pressure from Agnew. Terrific tackle. Turnover close. Scharenberg. Have a look at Marlon Motlop. He's already got 2 and he's on his own here. And he just drills a hard, low little kick to the wrong side of the goalpost.
Yeah, they're starting to really open Port Adelaide up. That looked really dangerous, and they've just earned it with their tough work around the football. It's produced opportunities like that.
Lena to restart for Port Adelaide. Nice drop on into the centre square. High fly was Marshall, didn't get to it though. Oh, evasive skills were outstanding there from McCarthy. The left footer around the body. Motlop found it again. Got a couple to beat, but he can. He's elusive. He kicks well for Scott. Well positioned at the back against Woodcock in a mismatch. Ball springs free, and here's Lena. Now he's got Woodcock. The hand pass though, oh, he's taken high there and will get the free kick. A little unnecessary there from Andrew Bradley.
I'm not sure who he was handballing to begin with, but eventually we'll get a free kick for it.
Woodcock just the 9 disposals today. Failed to kick a goal last week as well, or in the last game. Here he is driving up towards centre wing. White is there with a big fist. Ball came down for Sam Davidson. Laddams doing the roving work as well in traffic against Gould. Mays, well, the kick knocked down, and they're the 1%ers Glenelg have done all day. Port Adelaide have been on the back step, and they haven't kicked a goal inside the first 10 minutes at any stage, or just once so far. The crowd, 39,105. 39,105, so just shy of the 40,300 we had last year. And it was 39 the year before for the Sturt Port final as well. So another healthy crowd here. And the SANFL alive and well. Forwards, Gould, and the short kick is a good one as he finds Virgin. Called the play on, works around Tobin Cox and up the line. High ball. Presentation came there from Davidson, couldn't complete the mark. Here's Jesse White getting all sorts of treatment from Matt Appleton. And a stalemate, and the umpire comes in.
Glenelg have been brilliant around stoppage, not only from starting from a man, but they haven't been offensive too much. They've just made sure they've stayed with the play, haven't really backed themselves in, and just made sure they've split those 50-50 wins.
Snooks kick, missed the target. Leonard's going to get a free kick for being held on to. There's some good stoppage work again, as Biggle said that there by the Bays, but that missed kick by Snook enabled Leonard to come through, and he's got the free kick, put Scharenberg under enormous pressure. 2-on-1. Frampton battles on, goes well, kicks it to Farrell. We know he's got a good goal sense. He's clever in front of the sticks. That one was a little low, didn't get the right purchase on it. Joseph used the body really well against Ellsworthy, really committed. And he has had a really good day, Aaron Joseph.
He's taken that one out of bounds, and players trying to get a deliberate on that, but they're not going to play that today.
Wise old head there, Timmy. 73 games of AFL experience for the Blues. White gets his way to the front, and McCarthy taken down by Frampton.
This stoppage work, the Bays have really strangled Port Adelaide.
The kick comes from Agnew up towards centre wing. McBean flies, couldn't get purchase on it. And pass comes out. That was from Tom Corcoran, a high ball, but again Agnew standing underneath it. That's something that Glenelg have been prepared to do all game, in fact all season.
Oh, they've kept their heads up. They've gone back with courage, led by the captain Curran, and they've just been better at all the little things so far today.
10 minutes played in the final term. There's McCarthy. Slow start today, working his way into the game, coming up for disposal number 9. And they'll be happy to milk the clock here because the onus is on Port Adelaide to make something happen, and at the moment it is not happening for them. They've been allowed to make it happen because Glenelg have just been tremendous. Ellsworthy. Good job there from Trengo. The man running past. The kick comes forward. Max Proud there in defence. Got Virgin in support. Ubergang playing the quarterback and brings it out to Scharenberg. They've got all the answers. The best defensive team in the competition are living up to expectation here, restricting Port Adelaide at the moment to just 5 goals. Port Adelaide's lowest score this season. And they kicked 3 goals. They kicked 6 goals against Sturt back in round 17. So that's in some danger here. It's not the day that you want to be coming up with your lowest score of the season. Free kick going the way of Hewitt. It's come back now. They'll have to kick over the mark. Up toward half forward. Target there was Hayes. Brought it to ground. Virgin got there quickly. Scharenberg. Virgin. Torpedoes one high into the air. Centre of the ground. Jack Ellsworthy working against the biggest Scott. Look at the tackling there from Gregson. Scott kicks it off the ground and the race is on. Josh Scott, he's got a couple to beat. Went through Mackenzie's leg. Reynolds dragged off it. Could have been incorrect disposal. Play on is the call from the umpire. Hewitt is there. Kick off the ground from McBean. Getting back quickly here. It's Davidson, but he's wrapped up strongly. Good work there from Darcy Bailey coming in over the top to force a stalemate.
Pretty tight contest that was. Every single possession was hard-earned.
Port Adelaide under siege down here is Laddams. Very nice tap. Davidson clearing kick close to the line, and Virgin will have scored it out and let it bounce through. So chance to pump it back in. Inside 50 count is still +4 to the Magpies. +3 now. Fly Reynolds! Couldn't hold on to it. Little give from Snook around the corner. Agnew, and it's cut off by Mackenzie. Reynolds, gee, was in a good position there. We've seen him have a great final series with his hands. Mackenzie low and hard into Drew. He can come out wide here to Appleton. So Port just maintaining possession for the moment, working it up the line. Boyd Woodcock, 3 goals in the grand final last year for the Roosters. His high kick to half forward. Frampton taken out. Have a look at that, Max Brown. Good mark. They combined well with Ubergang there, and his kick in the centre half back. White, little spill. The umpire blew the whistle early. Frederick close going up. Drew gives it. Woodcock slaps it down into Drew again. Woodcock just working back and forward till they can get some space. Tackle is fantastic. That is Joseph again.
He's been that experienced head down back for the team for a long time. He's seen some pretty dark days at the base, so he'll be very happy with this.
That tackle was right in front of us. It was like a dog with a bone. He was not letting go. Buried his shoulder, and the boys down here loved it.
No one can complete the mark. Reynolds, Scharenberg. Snook once more. Marty Frederick there. Wrestling over the ball. And Frederick did well to reef that away from him. Gets Hampton got it from Woodcock, went back in that direction. He may have been dragged down off the ball there by Gould. It goes unwhistled. But again, it's labour-intensive stuff from Port Adelaide. Drew leading with his head and looks as though he was well held. Umpire says, I'll have it.
It's just hard work for Port Adelaide every time. The Bays have just been in there and at them, tackling hard. Nice and tough in close. Snoop leading the way.
Appleton once more. Strong tackle from McCarthy. He's going nowhere. Umpire's going to come in. 14.5 minutes played in this final term. Port Adelaide has added just the one behind so far. And Glenelg, they've kicked the only goal. They've kicked one goal too. And the onus not on them to kick goals at the moment. They'll be happy if the status quo remains because they are heading toward a drought-breaking premiership. Up forward, Curran at the bottom of the pack once more. This is Nicholson. He's been good today. Virgin, Ubergang, Motlop. Back to Virgin. And they're out of trouble once more. Not a lot to kick to, though. Has to go by hand. Darcy Bailey, his handball over the top, will sold his teammate into trouble and he was dragged down. And Garner's got some pushing and shoving to be done there as well as Partington hits the deck.
A bit late for that. So getting in, get your head in underneath the football very early.
Glenelg's defensive run, not only from stoppage but in general play, they've been moving back with speed as quick as they go when they have the ball offensively, so it's a credit to them. They're always on the defence, and when they get it, they know they've got enough runners as well.
Appleton won't let McCarthy out of that. Wraps the vice. Nearing 16 minutes gone in this final term. Nicholson, good work by Trengove on the kick from Motlop, and going to be pinged though for holding the ball. Marlon Motlop has kicked a couple of goals. He's the midfield coach for them about halfway through the year. Mark Stone had a chat with Marlon. He said, look, I want you to help me out with the midfield. And Marlon has taken the responsibility. He's had a great final series so far too. Kicked a goal, 2 goals in each of his finals matches. Goes up the half forward, McBean. Good nod onto it, Frederick. Wrapped up by Snook.
It's pretty much all day, isn't it? You know, ball hits the deck. Port Adelaide think they might have a possession and they're just mugged by a Glenelg player.
Trengove. Farrell smacks it into the head of Nicholson, and the umpire will have to throw it up outer wing.
The great Peter Carey was at the three-quarter time huddle. You could just see the nervousness on his face, and I think right about now he might be making a couple of phone calls to the Bay Oval, and the Snouts Bar might be getting a couple of extra kegs brought in as we speak, I would have thought.
I'll celebrate in style, Glenelg. Long time between drinks, 33 years. Record in grand final, just 4 premierships, 13 times they've lost the grand final. And enjoy this, and thoroughly deserved as well. Best team all year. Free kick going the way of McBean here. Jesse White's gone forward, looking to put his name on the goal kickers list as well at some stage. Bradley, hand pass for Gould, the teenager, charges through the middle of the ground. The 18-year-old sets sail for home, came off the side of his boot, into the pocket, kept alive. In fact, a free kick now going the way of Hewitt, as Reynolds just getting into his back.
Timmy, the eyes lit up there for Gould, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
I think he was thinking, hello.
Gould was going for gold.
This was going to be the one. McBean uses his body well. Big Liam had the moon boot on all week. He had hamstring concerns in these finals, problems with his heel. And the big fella, Jack Odie, not the Jack Odie, of course, the Ken Farmer medal goes in low and hard. Strong hands from Laddams. Yeah, Ken Farmer medal won it by 1 goal from his teammate in Luke Reynolds to go with his Frosty Miller medal for the goal kicking in the VFL when he was at Richmond, as Sutcliffe reaches out over the top, goes off the deck nicely. Marshall just loses Ubergang. Kick into the square. Marshall's kick is a good one. Heading back, Tobin Cox. Strong hands.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of that from Port Adelaide today. Able to get clean possession inside 50. It's been rare, extremely rare. And Tobin Cox, who has to gold at 8. Might be able to get his second.
Former Glenelg player was rookied by Port Adelaide, and he's only 179 centimetres, got a terrific set of hands. And here's a chance just to slot through number 2 for him, and he's snuck it in, and 22 points is the margin. They need 4 goals.
Adelaide Physiotherapy and Pilates Studio. Improving your health is our business. So don't wait for the day to feel better. Contact us about our introductory offer and find it today. Core Physiotherapy and Pilates Studio. We're central to your health.
For over 68 years, Clark the Jeweller has been here for South Australians with beautiful jewellery that wins the heart and touches the soul. And quality design that is always out of the ordinary. Clark the Jeweller, Brundle Mall, Adelaide.
Tobin Cox just wobbles that one through on the National Pharmacy's optical replay, gets his second for the game, and Port Adelaide a little consolation goal.
Jesse White in the ruck against Sam Hayes, who reaches over the top, works it to Appleton. Snook on the bottom of it once more. What a day he's had. 28 disposals, 7 tackles, 7 clearances. I don't think anyone works as hard as Matty Snook.
He does all the hard work, doesn't he? He's been terrific at it all year.
We saw an infringement earlier on in the match where there were too many people inside forward 50. They just had another warning, the Magpies, and I tell you what, the bench coaches down here were not pleased.
Oh, it's all starting to unravel for Port Adelaide. Just hasn't been their day, and full credit to Glenelg for not allowing them to at any stage threaten. Kicked the first 4 goals of the game in the opening quarter, Glenelg, and extended it to the first 5 with the first of the second quarter. And Port Adelaide has never been travelling like a winning threat. Scott, hand pass, Bradley, well smothered. Body on the line stuffed there as Joel Garner smothers the ball out of bounds. We're into time on in this final quarter. And as you can see, contested possessions. Matty Snook at the top of the tree there. And White, Jesse White's done an outstanding job as well. 17 hit-outs, 7 clearances, 16 disposals. He is the new era ruckman / midfielder. And that picture tells you 1,000 words, because for Port Adelaide, there has not been a lot to get excited about at any stage.
No, the Bays have owned it since the first bounce. They've wanted it more. They've done all the 1% of grand final things you expect, and Port Adelaide weren't able to ever get some ascendancy or dominance at any stage.
Just a goal each in this final term. Scott got that one in the first minute, and then Cox just before time on. So it's been a lower scoring term. It's not going to have a lot of minutes on it. Glenelg in a good position now. Partington, McGarry medalist, high ball, running under it, lean it. He's tried hard for Port Adelaide. Partington gives it to Close. Cut off there by Woodcock. Lean it again, goes forward with a bit of a wobbler. And you're going to see it out over the line. Port Adelaide looking for deliberate, and the umpire deciding no. We'll throw it into the half-forward line for Port Adelaide. 22.5 minutes gone. A little over in this final term. 1986 was the last time that Glenelg were able to win a flag. There's going to be some huge celebrations tonight down the bay as Trengo sits over the top. It might be time to relaunch the Bay Disco tonight. Get yourself down there. 33 years in the making.
Might have to open Lenny's as well.
Carter with it. He wobbles it forward for Port Adelaide. Scharenberg just scurries a kick away as well. Laddams did well, went in strongly. Kenzie there as well, dragged down. Full credit to our co-commentator, Jim Ginniver, I think Soda as well, who suggested that the loss for Glenelg in the second semi wouldn't hurt them. And they got the 2 finals under their belt, and this is going to be the last 5 preliminary final winners have gone on to win the flag, to just underscore the importance you were talking about, Timmy, of winning that week before the grand final, having momentum, feeling good about yourselves. You're up and about, and that's the Tigers. They burst out of the blocks here and have just been irresistible.
I think if they won the second semi, I just don't think it was enough footy. That was the concern.
Mark Stone has run to the boundary line here, boys. He wants the runner to get out for something very urgent. He is not letting this game slip one little bit.
First minor premier since 2013, Norwood to win this as a free kick has been plucked out. Marlon Motlop has got the chance to put the cherry on top, and there's Mark Stone. What about his work? He's played his footy at Wangaratta, packed up his house, went over to South Fremantle to take a job for $6,000 a year with South Fremantle, found his way to West Coast. Then he was able to work his time into the Sydney Swans and then to Freo, and then he took the job at Glenelg. They won their last 6 games of 2018. They've only lost 4 this year. Marlon Motlop for goal number 3 from right on 50. Has he got enough on him? He has. I think it's over the line. Glenelg are going to win the flag. This is enormous. It is time to open up the Bay Disco again. It's going to be mayhem down the beach tonight.
Well, they all get around Marlon Motlop. It wasn't his greatest kick. It wobbled every which way, but somehow eluded 3 Port Adelaide defenders. Now, he's tried to fend off here. Marlon Motlop's taken the ball off him and then got the free kick. And he's gone back and wobbled this one through. Somehow, the defenders have missed it. Good shepherding on the line. Not a very good defensive effort by Port Adelaide, but that... SANFL statewide Super League Grand Final.
Ironic, former Port Adelaide player Marlon Motlop kicks what could be the final goal of the game. We go back to the middle. They have done a tremendous job right from the outset. Best defence in the competition, has stood up to all challenges here today. They've restricted Port Adelaide to their lowest score of the year. It was Partington in traffic, kicks out wide, and Siren is there. And for the first time in 33 years, the Tigers are kings of the SANFL jungle.
With a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind, then never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weaken till the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger, yellow and black, we're from Tigerland.
Well, what a remarkable year for the Glenelg Football Club, and the Bay Army are back. Don't you worry about that. There's been a lot of heartache for a long, long time, and they win their 5th premiership. Just a terrific performance. The first time they have been able to beat Port Adelaide since the 1930s in a grand final on this oval. Let's head down now to the skipper, Chris Curran.
Captain Courageous, what a remarkable performance, but an overall team performance was the main point.
Absolutely. Apologies if I start crying first of all, but yeah, it was amazing. I mean, for 18 months we really dominated this comp, and we treated this year sort of those games we were winning, we treated it as a rehearsal for this exact day, and we built a brand that we thought would stand up and win these big games, and we did that today.
Looking back at it,
and our big forwards, Reno, Joshy Scott was back last week, and just another chance to play out here, and just that continuity in a game really helped, I think.
And you personally, you had some incredible foot injuries. You played finals in your first year at the club, and then it's been a long drought, and now to get the ultimate.
Yeah, it's crazy. I went for my walking ritual last night to the park where I did my first run after my last hamstring injury, and I remember thinking at the time that I'd probably never play again. It was that sore, and I couldn't run to save myself, and to think back to that and to where we are now, it's amazing.
What about the leadership group around you as well, Darren Joseph and the like? It's been an amazing performance.
Incredible boys. I've never felt that I was the sole captain this whole time, because, you know, those 6-7 guys, I feel they're as captain as much as me, and they've supported me the whole way.
Go and enjoy it, mate.
Appreciate it, mate.
Chris Curran, terrific leader. Great hands. He's had a terrific game, and let's head down to Andrew Hayes.
Granny Soda, joined by Josh Scott. Scotty, take us through what you're going through, because we know how you play. You're a passionate man.
Yeah.
There must be a bit going on.
Oh, like I just said, it's been the longest year personally. Watching these boys improve so much and get it done each week, and just not being able to be out there with them and having setbacks. But these boys just every week, just you think I'm still playing, like they're unreal, and to be able to play a part with these boys. 33 years, I think we're the first side ever to get the McGarry, Ken Farmer, and now the premiership. Oh, mate, yeah, I don't know. That's it.
Mate, in particular, with a lot of these boys, we're talking Max Proud, Chris Curran, guys like that.
Yeah.
Really tough times.
Yeah.
You were part of it back in 2016.
Yeah.
Did you think, looking forward, in a few years' time, you'd be doing something like this?
Oh, to be honest, probably not. Like, Mark Stone has just changed this club. Like, we all the boys had the drive and just needed the right direction, and mate, to be honest, it's happened a lot quicker than we thought, but far out. This is what we play footy for. I've never felt this before. First flag, and like, oh, mate.
Mate, we couldn't be happy for you. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Here's Josh Scott. He is absolutely pumped, and given he had that broken arm in round 3, it was a horrible break too. Then he had some issues coming back with the plate in the arm. And to kick 3 goals in a grand final following his 3 goals from the prelim, what a terrific performance. Let's go and hear from the McGarry medalist.
Pardo, it's been a whirlwind. McGarry, a Ken Farmer, and now a premiership. And the performance today, particularly in the centre square, the midfield group, led by Snook, was brilliant.
Yeah, it was a huge game. Yeah, we knew it was going to take 4 quarters of footy, and we were able to do that. We got off to a good start, and in the end, that held us in good stead. They had to take it on a little bit, and we were able to hold on. That second quarter, we just held on, we stuck fat, and we reaped the rewards in the end.
The second semi, you started a bit slow. Today, you came out of the blocks really ferocious. Was that a key KPI going into the game?
Yeah, I think so. We just knew that if we played 4 quarters of footy, we'd give ourselves a good chance to win. And if we start like that, that's great. We learned a lot from the start of the second semi. We were fumbly, we were slow to start. So, yeah, really pleased with our start today. And then we played 4 quarters of footy, so we're really happy.
Go and enjoy it, mate.
Cheers, thanks.
Oh, that is a very, very happy Glenelg Football Club. There's Peter Carey. Played in 73, 85 and 86, and he's about to take the presidency over from Nick Chigwit, and he would be a very happy man. We'll see the Glenelg boys raise the trophy after the break. Well, 33 years in the making for Glenelg, and plenty of heartbreak in between those years. They've got very, very close, but now they have won their 5th premiership. Let's head down now to John Casey for the presentations.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, football fans, wherever you're watching Channel 7's exclusive coverage around South Australia, the country and beyond. On behalf of the SANFL, it's my pleasure to welcome you here to the 2019 Premiership presentation. We've just witnessed a memorable grand final, and I invite you now to acknowledge the players for reaching the Premiership decider. Please put your hands together for Glenelg and Port Adelaide. Sutcliffe to come forward and say a few words. While the Magpies did not get the result they wanted today, they put in a tremendous season under coach Matty Lockett and should be proud of their efforts after finishing outside the top 5 last season. Over to you, Cam.
Firstly, congratulations to the Glenelg Footy Club, Mark Stone, Chris Curran. Clearly the best team all year, and you guys deserve this today, so well done. To the Port guys and the Port faithful that came out today, we hope we can come back better and stronger next year and give it another tilt. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Cam. The Magpie style of play has won a lot of SANFL fans this season, and we expect that you'll be back around the mark next year. You should be very proud of your achievements in 2019. The player judge best of field in today's grand final will be awarded the Jack Oatey Medal, named after the late Jack Oatey, a former player and coach of over 750 matches with Norwood, West Adelaide and Sturt. Before we present the Jack Oatey Medal, the SANFL would like to pay tribute to Jack Oatey's son Robert, who sadly passed away on Tuesday. Robert was an inaugural inductee into the SA Football Hall of Fame in 2002, a long-serving SANFL employee and a SANFL Player Life member who represented South Australia on 9 occasions. He was fittingly awarded his Order of Australia Medal in 2008 for his services to Australian football as a coach and as a contributor to the development of younger players. Robert was admired by many and gave tremendous service to our game in South Australia. The SANFL and the entire South Australian football community extends its deepest sympathies to the Oatey family at this sad time. To present the Jack Oatey Medal to the player judge best on ground in today's grand final, please welcome to the stage Patria Oatey, daughter of Robert and granddaughter of Jack. And the winner of the 2019 Jack Oatey Medal from Glenelg, Matty Snook. A very popular winner with his teammates, and I think that says a lot about this man and what he's done for the Glenelg Football Club through thick and thin. Matty Snook, congratulations. I'll leave you to say a few words.
Firstly, I'd just like to thank Lokes and the Port Adelaide Football Club. You boys put up a real good fight and you had a ripper year, so thank you. To the crowd and mostly the Tiger supporters, thank you. You've been good all year, so thank you. And lastly, to Stoney and the boys, geez, it's been a ripper year, and just to top it off with that. Also, just to all the support staff, everyone else that's played during the year, the Twos boys, thank you. Cheers.
Well done, Jack Oatey medalist, Matty Snook. Ladies and gentlemen, participants from this year's SANFL Next Step program have been selected to present the winning premiers with their premiership medallions. And we'll get things underway for the Tigers wearing number 1, Liam McBean. Number 2, Jonty Scharenberg. Number 3, Matty Snook. Wearing number 4 for the Tigers, Aaron Joseph. Number 6, Brad Agnew. Number 7, Luke Reynolds. Number 8 for the Tigers, Marlon Motlop. Number 9 for Glenelg, Darcy Bailey. Number 10, the McGarry medalist, Luke Partington. Number 11, Andrew Bradley. Number 14, Brad McCarthy. Number 16, Corey Gregson. Number 18, Jesse White. Number 19, Max Proud. Matt Ubergang. Number 23, Brad Close. Number 29, Michael Virgin. Number 31, the teenager at 18 years of age, the youngest player out there today, Will Gould. Number 45, Carl Nicholson. And now the captain of Glenelg, number 5, Chris Curran. Congratulations, Chris. I'll ask you to say a few words.
Firstly, thanks to Cam, Lokes and the Port boys. Tough unit and put on a good show today. Thanks to the crowd for coming out. It's a great effort. Guys from the SANFL, the sponsors, Statewide Super, West End, for putting on a great year. Obviously the boys, not just the 21 from today, but our whole list, you've been incredible. I'll thank you individually later on. Obviously Stoney, our coaches, Sandy, the board, just incredible support for us the last couple of years. And obviously the Tigers faithful, volunteers, supporters, everyone that's stuck through us through this drought. Today's for you. Enjoy the sunshine.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to welcome the CEO of Statewide Super, Mr. Tony D'Alessandro, from the SANFL's naming rights sponsor, to present a premiership medallion to today's winning coach. Please put your hands together for Mark Stone.
Firstly, to Port Adelaide, commiserations. Nothing I can say is going to make it feel any easier, but I have stood in those shoes. It's not nice. To Matty, such a good team all year. Enjoyed our battles. Enjoyed the tactical battle. Coached extremely well through the year, mate. You should be really proud. And to Cam, the captain, we go back away, Cam. You nearly got us with your 3 goals. It'll be tough to swallow, but well done on your year, boys. You should be really pleased with yourselves and proud. Thanks to the SANFL and their major partners, West End and Statewide Super, for the support of the competition. Thanks to the umpires. We're not always best mates, but you do a great job, and I thought you umpired this whole final series really well. To our boys, you can achieve anything if you commit, and you put your mind to it, and you invest. And when you're as heavily invested as us, I knew we'd be the last to surrender. Just so proud of your effort. We all know effort is king, and effort got us over the line today. And we'll have a few drinks to celebrate, no doubt about that. To our support staff, thanks for tolerating me. Thanks for all your help. It's a love job, there's no doubt about that. And every single one of you is so valued by the club, by myself and the players. Thank you very much. And to our supporters out there who've waited 33 years, that cup's coming home to the Bay.
It's now my pleasure to welcome Football Commission Chairman Mr. John Olsen, AO, to present the prestigious Seymour Hill Premiership Trophy. I invite the Glenelg players to join us on stage for the celebrations. Come up, Tigers. The 2019 SANFL Statewide Super League Premiers are the Glenelg Football Club.
Tigers
Joy and happiness amongst that group, and Timmy G, it's our first minor premier since 2013 when it was Norwood to actually take the flag. So we've had some big wins over the past few years. North Adelaide hadn't done it for a long time, since 1991. Sturt, of course, went back-to-back with both their flags, and West Adelaide, well, when they won in 2015, it had been all the way back since 1983.
So great scenes there. Look, they'll remember this forever. It's a day that lives with you for the rest of your life, and those guys that played in that and earned that will always be able to look each other in the eyes and say, we're premiership teammates.
Well, 33 years in the making, and when you look at the record of the Glenelg Football Club under Mark Stone, since dating back to the middle of last year, for 2019. Thank you to everyone who was tuned in for our broadcast. Thank you to everyone at Channel 7 for putting it together. Have a wonderful summer. We'll see you again next year. Congratulations, Glenelg.